All-Pro cornerback Jalen Ramsey and tight end Jonnu Smith to the Pittsburgh Steelers in exchange for three-time All-Pro safety Minkah Fitzpatrick and a pick swap. So as part of the trade, which is pending physicals, Dolphins are sending a 2027 seventh-round pick to the Steelers and will receive a 2027 fifth-round pick back from Pittsburgh.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Common Sense Lending.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Welcome, everybody. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com. Happy Monday to everybody on a beautiful day. It's hot outside. It's summer. It's going to be in the 80s today and tomorrow.
Let's not complain about it.
I'm not complaining. It's nice.
Yeah, love it.
Great. It's perfect for your lawn. Get out there and do some yard work.
I should have taken a picture. My lawn is glorious right now. Glorious.
How did that turn around so quickly? I feel like the last time you mentioned it, it was like, Hoover's got the whole thing destroyed. It's just a mess. It's just the whole thing. It's just, I don't even look at it.
I'm putting much more time into it. So, yeah, that's what you have to do to stay ahead of the dog. I mean, It looks like just bombs have gone off out there. So, yeah, it's.
I feel like you've got to be more, what's the word I'm looking for? Diligent about picking up the bombs.
You're right.
I feel like you let them accumulate before you go out there and address them.
Okay, so I'm on a daily schedule now, Bob.
Okay,
so,
what were you before? Weekly?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, and it just gets on you.
That's a lot of landmines, man.
That's a lot of landmines.
Right. Well, hopefully all of your lawns are nice for those of you that have yards. I don't have one, but hopefully everybody's enjoying the weather while it's here. It goes so quickly. But, yeah, it is summer, and we've got much to discuss. Ryan Roland-Smith will join us at 3 p.m. for his weekly conversation. We'll speak with another member of the top 50 Seahawks to ever put on a Seahawks uniform, Robbie Tobeck. Will join us at 4 p.m., so looking forward to that conversation. We've spoken to how many?
Well, Jacob Green, I know. We had Eugene Robinson on, Moyer, who we're counting as one of
He's part of our
50.
Dave Craig.
Yeah, Dave Craig. How can you forget that? Kurt Warner. So trying to get a hold of Chris Gray. Tried to get a hold.
So we only have 45 to go.
That's right.
No, we talked to Max Strong.
Talk to Mac, yeah.
All right, 44 to go.
No, it's and especially from that era, and that's kind of where I'm concentrating right now. I texted Walter Jones and Mac and Robbie Tobeck and trying to get Chris Gray to come on, and I mean that people loved that era, and we're gonna have a guy on this today at 4:00 that is probably, you look back, probably the best center, and that's been a position that's been tough. Max Unger was really good. Blair Bush was a very good. This is back in for the old timers. No offense, Blair, but we're old timers. But yeah, I mean that position just hasn't really been nailed down, and it's still not really.
No, we're still wondering who the answer is at that spot. So it'll be good to talk to Robbie Tobeck. So point being, we've had a chance to talk to a number of the top 50 of all time. Go back, if you're a Seahawks fan, definitely go check out those conversations. They're on the podcast page at seattlesports.com. Meanwhile, Mariners, a successful road trip. They go 6-4. It's a winning road trip.
I have to say, I'm really excited about this because now, would it have been different if the game they lost 3-2 was yesterday? Probably.
Yeah.
But and I thought in that series with the Rangers, and we'll get to our favorite parts of this whole road trip, but in one game you had Master Boney was the hero. I guess they're calling him Stroh now, right?
Stroh, that's right.
Yeah. And then, you get an unlikely guy like Mitch Garver yesterday, and I was screaming, had to close the window because I was like, get out, get out.
Oh, it got out.
Oh, man.
Oh, it got out. Take a listen.
Here's the pitch. Swung on, crushed, left field. This is destroyed. It's on its way. Second deck. Yes! Mitch Garver ravaging his former team, blasting a 2-run home run in the 12th, and the Mariners double up on the Rangers. It is 6-3. Garver goes yard in a big way.
How about Gary? Crushed, destroyed, ravaging.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, he did. He squared that one up, and it was he had a day. Good for him.
Yeah, and he had 6 hits on this road trip. I mean, 3 for 6 yesterday, and the home run, the 4 RBIs. He's got a lot of strikeouts. I mean, if you look at him as far as the rest of the team, he hasn't had nearly as many plate appearances as the guys that are striking out a lot. But yeah, it was just so nice to see him. And I don't know. I mean, I know there was that thing with him last year with Mitch Garver, where people were texting in, or not texting, but like tweeting him and stuff like that, and all this crap, just bad stuff. And I think he had, kind of a bad start. And I thought yesterday was the first time that you saw the smile on his face, and during the interview and everything, that he was truly happy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, that was cool to see that guys like Master Boney and Mitch Garver stepped up in that series, and really on that entire road trip.
Yeah, it was. You had people chipping in that you don't normally rely upon, or you don't expect anything from. Garver being one. I don't have expectations for him. I mean, it's just unfortunately that's just how it's gone. So good to see him do that, especially against his former team. That's got to feel great for him. And you needed him. You needed him to be that guy. I mean, it was a weird road trip in that you start out offensively, house of fire. I mean, just runs galore. Right? Just they couldn't help but score, and then they go dead. I know. And they just in a way that just frustrates the hell out of you. Like, what are you doing? They were 4 for 23 in a game with runners in scoring position.
Yeah,
just brutal. So there was a lot of good. There was a lot of things you're wringing your hands about, but seeing what I give Castillo a ton of credit. It looked like, okay, it's going to be 5 and dive. He's out 90 pitches. He's efficiency has not been his thing. That's been a hard thing for Castillo. He's been solid for the most part. He's had some really good starts. He's had some not so good, but he's not the most efficient pitcher. He doesn't go deep in games.
Right.
And you needed him. The bullpen was just worn out, and that extra inning that he gave them was huge for him to come back out, throwing 90 pitches, and give you the 6th inning, and limit the damage. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Outstanding job by him. Wu has been just ridiculous. Only pitcher in baseball who's gone 6 or more innings every single start. 16 starts this year. He's been just rock solid, to say the very least. So you got some great performances out of the bullpen. I know Vargas, or Vargy as his friends call him, gave up the home run yesterday, but the bullpen had been covering a lot.
Yeah.
And they've been doing a really good job. And look, they're not going to be perfect. They're going to make their mistakes. Things are going to happen. But it was a successful road trip. But it's weird when you, again, I know when you look on social media or you look at our text line, which you guys can text in 866-979-3776. You'd think they lost 6 of 10 by the reaction. It's just people are on edge waiting to complain about whatever's on their mind. And you go into a 10-game road trip, and before the road trip, you say, all right, I'll give you 6 wins right now. You can take it. Everybody's going to go, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Your goal is to split. At worst, let's split. Let's 5-5. The only problem with the whole thing is that the Astros don't lose. They're not losing. So the Mariners cannot close the gap on the Astros. So they got to cling to that third wild card spot, which they have right now. But yeah, that's the frustrating part of it, is you walk away from this going, that was a good road trip. Yeah, there are flaws in there. There are things we'll talk about, but you took 6 of 10 on the road. That's success.
Yeah.
But you look at the gap between the Mariners and Astros and go, nothing changed.
Right. Yeah, that's the frustrating part. And I guess I try to just block Houston out of my thoughts, and what are they able to do offensively? And and certainly, I mean, it was one of those 6 and 4 as you mentioned, but they had that just total power outage in Minnesota. I mean, you come off of that series against Chicago, who's a really good team, and really when you look at the lineup, you look at the lineup for the Rangers. That's a good lineup, man. I mean, they've got some hitters, and you're able to take that series, but. Just the second half of that Minnesota series, it was like that's what we've kind of seen on, when the Mariners are at their worst, they lose 2-0, right? And then the 10-1 was just ridiculous. I mean, it was just totally out of control. But to come back like they did, and again to get some of the production from a guy like Miles Mastrobuoni, I just think is a great sign. Now, is it enough to we're okay with this team going forward?
No.
Not so sure about that. But
no.
Just love to see that Mitch Garver came around, and that was some good pitching performances as well.
Yeah, it was. There was a lot of good in all of this. There was again certainly things you can point to, and this guy didn't come through. This guy gave it up. The game where they lose 10-1. Hancock pitched well. He didn't give you the quality start. He came up an inning short, but he gave you 5 innings, 2 runs. He's keeping you in the game. Problem is, Pop came in there and gave up 8 runs in an inning, and he was DFA'd. Yes. But that made it look so much worse, right? That's the one where Mastrobuoni pitched in that game. But they got some great pitching before you got your final 5 games. You had 3 quality starts in there.
Right.
Problem is, you dropped 2 of those 3. You got a quality. That's what makes me nuts is when the pitching comes through and it feels like the pitching is starting to find its rhythm and get round into shape. This offense is just so Jekyll and Hyde. Just like we said, they start the road trip and they're just scoring runs left and right, and man, they're just launching the ball everywhere. And then they score 1 run in 2 games against Minnesota. They give up 12. They lose that game, those 2 games, 12-1.
Yeah,
combined, and then. They lose 3-2 against the Rangers in that middle game. They just couldn't push across any runs. So, yeah, there's certainly frustrating moments with this offense, and by no means is it fixed. And there are certain areas we'll look at a little more closely and get a gauge on how concerned we are. But, yeah, it's coming out of it, just kind of looking at comments and texting with buddies. Where are you at with this? And you guys can answer this as well, 866-979-3776. You have more confidence in this rotation, the pitching overall, rotation, bullpen, or the offense? Where do you have more confidence?
Yeah, I'm still with the rotation right now. And then, you mentioned the bullpen, and, Trent Thornton, he goes 2 innings. Was it the second game or the third game of the Chicago series where they had to, drag him off the mound?
Yeah.
And it was a great comeback. I mean, he pitched 2 innings. Now, he gave up a run, and he walked a couple, but he got a couple of really important strikeouts. And, it was nice to see him back. I like Trent Thornton. He's just one of the guys I've always kind of kept my eye on. I love that he's an undersized guy, and he's just got some fury behind him. And then he's facing
furious
Kyle Seager, not Kyle Seager, but Corey and
his buddy.
Yeah, they knew each other, and he was like, "Yeah, I'd be lying at the end." He was saying, "I'd be lying if I told you that one wasn't really important for me to get that." So, yeah, he gets that, and it seems like he's coming back around. So that was nice to see. Vargas seems like he's always, at least helps a little bit. Not great yesterday, but he will go extra innings and
won't pitch multiple days in a row. And I mean, they were down
battle horse.
They were down to a rookie to a guy who's not pitched in the major leagues.
Yeah,
that's what they had left in the bullpen. And Thornton's interesting because he's kind of like Hancock. He'll be good. He'll be solid. But when he blows up, he blows up. Yeah. So it really skews his number. Like you look at his numbers just in June. Like in this game, he gave up 1 run, but it was unearned. 2 innings, so he gave you 2 innings. Game before that, 1 inning, 2 1/3. These are all scoreless. Inning and 2/3 scoreless. But then there's that game against Arizona, 1 inning, 5 runs.
Right.
Just gets shelled. So just completely skews the ERA, and it looks like he's just getting touched up every time he steps on the hill. And when you look at his game log, he's been rock solid.
Yeah.
But he's had, like Hancock, when he blows up, he kind of blows up. He had that one. He had another one against Boston where he went 1/3 of an inning, gave up 3 runs. So in two outings, he gave up 8 runs.
All right.
So that's going to make your ERA look a little shaky.
Yeah.
And when you look at it game by game, it's been pretty solid. I'm not saying he's your closer. He should be your high leverage guy and all, but he's been much more good than bad.
Right. Well, and to your point, there was 5 games where he didn't give up an earned run.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and limited pretty decent as far as the walks go. But yeah, he's really, really good when he's on it. So yeah, it was just another guy. The reason why I mention him is just because we're talking about Garver and Mastrobuoni and Trent Thornton, that you're getting it from those kinds of guys. Meanwhile, Cal, he's not having to carry the load the entire time. I mean, he had 3 singles in this series, got on base a ton. I think he had 6 walks, and he had 5 home runs in the first 4 games of this road trip, and then he kind of just cooled off and was just regular Cal. And you got it from other places, so it's always kind of nice, because remember at one point we took all of Cal's numbers out of the offense, and it was pretty dreadful. Mm-hmm. A lot of their numbers went from top 10 to middle of the pack, if not in the bottom third.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's an interesting road trip. Judging by comments and things like that, it was hard to get a feel. Are you more encouraged or discouraged coming out of these 10 games? I was encouraged. I mean, yeah, certainly, again, there were moments of extreme frustration, me yelling at the TV, but you found a way to turn this into a winning series. You take 6 of 10 on the road. I'm going to take that every time. I'm going to take it every time. So, yeah. I felt encouraged that they can keep this thing where it's at, meaning don't let that gap between you and the Astros get too big. Maybe it will, but hang on to that. Right now they got a 2-game lead in that third wild card spot. They have that spot as we sit.
Yeah.
Hang on to that. Keep pace with that till the trade deadline, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, both hands, they're going to bring in some help for the offense, and that's. Everybody's asking, well, what do they need? Do they need pitching or they need hitting? I'm like, they need hitting. I'd like to see them get an arm for the bullpen, another arm for the bullpen. But if you look at your infield, you're not getting production at any spot other than catcher. Mm-hmm. I mean, JP's done a great job getting on base, but he's not driving in runs, hitting home runs, and that's not what you expect from him. But you're not getting it at second from Cole Young, and you don't really expect it from your second baseman. Your corner spots is where you expect it, and you're not getting it. You're not getting it from third. And this is not ripping on Ben Williamson. He's been brilliant with the glove, brilliant defender. Done a nice job getting his base hits. He's kind of hovered around 254. His average is right there. He's not hit any hardcore slumps, but he doesn't have any pop right now. He hasn't developed into. He's not driving in runs. And the same is true for first base. Yeah, you've had moments here and there, but by and large, you're not getting production out of any of your infield spots other than catcher.
Right.
You got to address that.
Yeah. No, and I after this series 6-4, and of course, like I said, what would we have felt differently if they would have lost the 3-2 game yesterday? Probably, but I don't think it swayed my opinion in any way about going and getting more offense at the deadline. Not even close. So, and the fact that you got stuff from Mastrobuoni and from Garver. That's great. I mean, you always want to highlight that, but that doesn't mean that they're fixed. And, it's kind of interesting. I wonder next time we'll talk to JP this week, John Paul Morosi. He still was hanging in there that they need to get a starting pitcher is what, that was what his big, what he's pulling for at the deadline for the Mariners, which I don't know. That was surprising to me. Maybe he's right, but
I don't feel like that's their priority.
I don't either.
They got a guy down in AAA that they can call upon who's had success. Yeah. Obviously brief, but you've seen him succeed at the big league level, assuming everybody else is healthy.
Right.
Your needs are much more, in my opinion, much more urgent on the offensive side. That to me was highlighted on this road trip. But we can talk more about that. If you miss any part of the show, by the way, you just want to go watch things again, you can check out our Wyman and Bob channel on the Seattle Sports YouTube page. You can search Seattle Sports, search Wyman and Bob, Bob Stelton on all social media platforms like Instagram and X and Blue Sky, Threads. We're all over that place. So everything is there. If you missed it, it's right there for you. Let's take 2.
Texas State has officially joined the Pac-12, becoming the 9th member of the conference ahead of its relaunch in 2026.
Is that big news?
Yeah, that's
Texas State.
Huge news. They've been trying to get that program into the Pac-12 for years.
Right now they're the Pac-9, I guess. So here are your members: Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, Oregon State, San Diego State, Texas State, Utah State, Washington State.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
That's a who's who.
There's lots of states.
That's
in
a
there.
who's who. And then Gonzaga non-football.
Yeah, so they're 9. They make it 9, but really there's 8 football teams, right?
Yeah.
We had a big conversation before with Matt about some of the other names that they could have. Does everything have to be big, or does everything have to be packed? Could they call it something else?
There's a Big 10 and a Big 12.
Yeah.
And neither have 10 or 12 teams.
Right. Well, I remember
Who's deciding these things?
For the longest time, the Pac-12 was the only one with 12 teams. I mean, the Big 10 had like 16 or something, and the Big 12 had 14 or whatever it was. So, yeah, the glory of the Pac-12 lies in the hands of Texas State.
Aaron Judge hit 2 home runs yesterday in the Yankees' win over the Athletics, bringing his season total to 30. Still 2 behind Cal for the MLB lead.
It's going to be interesting to watch this MVP race and how these guys continue to produce second half of the season. I think it's going to be much harder for Cal. We've talked about it because of the position he plays and the wear and tear that he goes through as a catcher.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think I just put much more, if they both stay at this pace, they're both right around each other in terms of home runs and runs driven in and everything else, there's got to be some lean toward Cal based on the demands of the position he plays. It's just different. It's not apples to apples.
You know, the thing that's the biggest difference, I think, between those two, because they're within 2 as far as home runs. You look at Aaron Judge's average. I mean,
and his on base.
It's 356. And you look at Cal, which is amazing that he's at 275. Because, I mean, he's been, 220?
Low 2s, yeah.
225, sometimes less. And so, yeah, I mean, I think he's going to have to do a lot more. But I don't know if people appreciate the catcher position or not. I sure do, and I know a lot of people in Seattle. And you're starting to, see this. Last week was the first time we heard from, the national people talking about how, he has to put a cup on and squat and do all this and gets banged up all the time.
Putting a cup on is
that was their standard. That was the standard,
look
apparently.
What he's got to go through, people. He's got to wear a cup.
Yeah, but it was just, basically saying that he's going to get beat up back there. So, hopefully he's able to stay healthy, but he doesn't seem to overreact too much when he gets those inner thigh shots or one off the ankle or whatever. So hopefully it's just a matter of managing the bruises.
Take Two is brought to you by Swedish Cyberknife. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/cyberknife prostate. Coming up, how will the Mariners fare against the Royals? We're going to tell you in our next Call It Now. We're going to make our predictions. Coming your way next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
After a gutty series win
Donovan Solano driving in the run.
and 3 straight extra innings games in Texas,
The Mariners have taken the lead in the 10th inning.
the Mariners are back home at T-Mobile with George Kirby on the mound to kick off the 7-game homestand.
A huge strikeout for Kirby.
Mariners Royals. First pitch tonight at 6:40. Wyman and Bob take you to pregame at 5:30 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports, and the Seattle Sports app.
I saw her texting, coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions. 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Wait, if I work today, why should I have to wait 2 weeks to get my money? With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits Limits are based on your earnings and risk factors. Available in select states. Expedited transfers available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys. And I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month. But what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Pure Talk. A wireless company that actually stands for something.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement $999.99 and qualifying ported. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid card below 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Do you have a car you'd like to sell but don't want to go through all the hassle? With all the scams and security risks out there, more and more people are uncomfortable selling their own car. So how do you get the most money for your used car without selling it yourself? Stacy here with the answer. Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Not only will they purchase your car and pay you right up front for it, but it gets way better. Once they resell your old car, they share half the profit with you. The question I get most from my friends and colleagues is, what's the catch? And how can they offer this? It's super simple. All the money they save by not traveling to buy cars at auctions, like purchase fees, shipping, and travel expenses, is what allows them to offer this. They'd rather share that money they save with you than outside vendors. They encourage you to shop around, but if Wayscar Ford can pay you the same or more as their competitors and then share half their profit with you once they resell your car, why would you sell your car anywhere else? They've already shared over $800,000 with customers, and it's only at Wayscar Ford. That's wayscarford.com, Wayscar Ford in Auburn.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time on a fancy water bottle with ultra titanium alloy metal. You're not sure why you need all that. I mean, it just holds water. But you're getting it anyway, because if you're hiking near an active volcano and you accidentally drop the bottle into molten lava, your water will still be icy cold. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For water bottles. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I was taking my side hustle full-time.
Bold move, my friend.
And I needed to find everything in one stop.
Like finding Bigfoot riding a unicorn.
Yes, so I hit the Staples Easy button. Staples had everything for a new office and print services for signs and brochures. Plus, Cindy, the Staples associate, helped me find the best tech for me.
Wait, no drama?
No, Staples made it easy.
For the products, services, and experts your business needs. Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Common Sense Lending.
What's the most you ever lost on a coin toss?
It's time for Wyman and Bob to put their reputations on the line.
I need to know what I stand to win. Everything. Call it.
Say it! Say it! This is Call It Now.
Good answer. Like the way you think.
All right, Dave, this is where you rebound, right?
Wait, I was down?
Have you ever been up?
Matt, I thought I was really good at this.
Dave's like, I've been crushing this segment.
Well,
I think this
that's
is
news to me.
This is where you turn it around, right?
Okay.
Here. This is where you turn it around. We got the Royals. You got a 7-game series, homestand, I should say. A 4-game series with the Royals, 3 versus the Pirates. This should be a very good homestand. This sets up to be good. Should be good. So, going into this with a level of optimism, out of the 4 games between the Mariners and Royals, how many do the Mariners win?
All right, I'm going to be bold and say that that they're going to win 3 of 4 because we got Kirby, Hancock, Gilbert, and Wu going.
Mm-hmm.
I think they can take 3 of the 4.
I agree. I'm going 3 of 4.
Look at you.
Yeah.
You don't want to align yourself with me, you know.
Well, I didn't last time, and it worked. So I stayed. You said they were going to take 3 of 4 against the Twins, and I said 2 of 4. I really wanted you to be right on that.
Yeah.
That didn't
Those
work
are
out.
2 of the most dreadful games.
Awful. All right, how about quality starts? You just gave the lineup, the rotation that we'll be seeing there. How many quality starts are you getting? Are you getting over, under 2.5?
I'm just going to go under on that one. Not because I don't have faith. I think they're going to be able to win these games. But yeah, I'm going to go under on that one. I'm going to be prudent in this case.
I'm going to go over 2.5 because the Royals don't score a bunch of runs.
No,
they're not a great hitting team. In fact, they've scored the fewest number of runs in their division in the Central, and it looks like they've scored the fewest number of runs in the American League, even fewer than the White Sox.
Yeah, yeah. You look at like their slug and their OPS numbers are 26, 27. I think they have the least. Don't they have the least hits in all of baseball?
Probably, because they've scored the fewest runs in baseball. So this will really tick me off if they all of a sudden get hot against the Mariners. So I'm going to take the over on 2.5 quality starts. I think they should be able to shut down that offense. All right, how about this for the Mariners offense, which is really hard to predict these days? Over, under 11.5 total runs.
Over, under 11.5. I'm going to go over. Over on the 11.5 runs. Definitely. I think they're going to explode. We're going to start to see Mastroboni and Garver just go on a heater. No, not really. But yeah, I mean, I think they're going to be. I just think coming off of that was a big, certain series I think mean different things, and for the way that they won that series in Texas, I think is going to give them a lot of confidence. I was just thinking about last night and, watching the interviews afterwards, and I think Brad Adam even mentioned it, like the flight home had to have been just awesome. And you love those kinds of times. And a lot of times I just remember being on planes that, in the NFL, it's totally different because you play so many games and all that. But then every once in a while you come off a road win, and like guys get together and start to talk about, hey, you know what, this team's better than we think, man. We can get this done. So I'm hoping that it was that kind of plane ride home. And the offense they're gonna start to get that contribution, those contributions from those kinds of players like Garver and Mastroboni more often, more regularly.
Yeah, that's the one area where the Royals have been good, is they've allowed the fewest runs in the Central.
Yeah, their pitching is pretty good. I think they're top 5 or 6 ERA.
But I think the Mariners, look, I put 11.5 because that's just under 3 runs a game.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's a 4-game series. So they should be able to eke out 12 total runs. So I'm gonna go with the over as well. Despite the fact that that's the strength of the Royals.
Should I be skeptical that Bob is making up these numbers?
I was just about to say, honestly, Bob, why do you keep agreeing with Dave? Are you throwing this week?
Trying to get Dave back into this whole thing. You can set the numbers if you want.
No. I don't think there's any kind of corruption going on at all.
Are
we keeping score?
I'm trying.
I believe we are.
Now we'll get into some of the individual numbers, and here's your guy who is just in a beyond dreadful slump.
Mm-hmm.
This is as bad as it gets. Dylan Moore is 1 for 30 in the month of June. He's got 1 base hit, hitting .033. We'll talk more about that later. So, considering he's got 1 hit this month, Dave, does he go over, under 1.5 hits in this 4-game series?
Of course, he's going over. He's gonna progress to the mean. I mean, come on, that's just not who he is.
He's gonna get 2 hits at
maybe
least.
It is.
Well, the other part is we don't know how often he'll be in the lineup.
Right. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna bank on him. Just because, remember last time with Donnie Barrels, we went through this, and I was like, oh, yeah, I don't know. And, first I was buying, and then like there was a continued slump. Then I'm like, okay, he's done. They should, get rid of him. And then he went on a tear. So I'm going to stick with my guy.
This is where it starts for Dylan Moore.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, I don't. I'm gonna take the under. I'm gonna take the under just because I don't know how much he's gonna play.
You're gonna get a text from me that says "In your face, Bob."
I hope so. I hope so. Any negative prediction, I want to be wrong. How about this? Another guy we will talk about, Polanco, over under 3.5 hits in this 4-game series.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over on that as well. Did you know that in 31 plate appearances this year, 2 outs, runners in scoring position, he's hitting .429 and over 1,000 OPS. And I'm making my case. 1 home run in those situations, 14 RBIs. So yeah, I'm going to go with Polanco.
Okay, I'll take the under.
Okay,
I'll take the under on that. I'm going to go. You're Doomsday Dave, so I'll be Doomsday Bob here.
Okay.
Cal. He's in a home run drought, Dave. It's been, 6 games since he's hit a home run.
It's terrible.
Can't believe it. The power's gone. Complete power outage. Does he go over or under 1.5 home runs in this 4-game series?
What do you think I'm going to say?
I think you're going to say over.
Yeah. That's right. 1.5. Over. Definitely. I'm going to say Cal you could go 2.5. And
really?
Yeah.
So you're saying he's going to hit 3?
3 home runs.
3?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think he's going to hit 3, but I'll take the over. I think he gets 2 out of the 4 games.
I know that Cal doesn't listen to the show,
no, you don't know that.
Why would he? Do you think he's going, oh, great, thanks, man?
the home runs are hard to hit. That's what he's saying.
That's right. Who was the guy in Seinfeld?
Paul O'Neill.
Paul O'Neill.
Yeah.
No, that's terrible. It's hard to hit home runs.
Julio, over under 1.5 extra base hits. He had 3 hits yesterday. And they were all over 100 miles an hour, which I liked.
Right.
They were all on the ground.
Yeah.
I didn't love that, but hey,
he's stinging it.
He hit him 111, 109, 106. So that's hard hit rate. Hard hit is 95 miles an hour or more off the barrel of the bat. So he at least was squaring those hits up. They were still on the ground and they were singles. Does he go over under 1.5 extra base hits?
Extra base hits. I'm going to say that he is going to go over on that. Yeah, like you said, he's starting to hit it hard. Because I know you're talking about him pounding it into the ground, but then you start to look at some of the exit velocity, and it's starting to improve a little bit. So
at least in that game.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go with you on the over. I think he can get 2 doubles. He can get maybe a home run and a double in 4 games. I don't think that's too much to ask.
Matt, so far, who would you bet on if it was Bob or Dave?
Bob. Is that even a question?
I just thought maybe I might have dazzled you with
Dave,
a
I'm
couple
normally
of my
the
picks.
one that puts the right and wrong sound effects when we do Call It Now Revisited. I'm picking Bob every day on that one.
Dave, you're at like plus money. You're the value pick.
Now I got Ian chiming in.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
see what you did.
Lefko leaves. Yeah. Now he feels like he's got to jump in. Last one. JP, over under 4.5 times on base. There's a reason I'm asking about JP because those numbers have changed a bit in the wrong direction. So we'll talk more about that. But what do you think?
I'm going to say under on that one.
I'm going to go over.
Okay.
I'm going to go over on that one.
You're bullish.
Whether it's walk, base hit, he's going to find a way on base at least 5 times in these 4 games. So we'll see. We'll come back, revisit those predictions at the end of the series. Meanwhile, is Brian Wu officially the ace of this Mariners pitching rotation? We'll get into that next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
ESPN senior baseball insider Buster Olney on Brock and Song.
What do you make of this Mariners team in general?
There are just so many teams in the middle, and they're almost to the point that it makes it hard to define them all. I think the Mariners actually have one of the better chances to break out of that pack because of their potential ceiling for their pitching. Once they get that in order, their centerpiece star is having the greatest season that we've ever seen from a catcher in the history of baseball.
Hear the full interview on the Seattle Sports app and the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine, and you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well, and your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit DanielNelsonMD.com. That's DanielNelsonMD.com.
Do you find yourself searching the medicine cabinet for pills and sprays during allergy season? How about having to buy one more medication when the season hits? I'm Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. We offer a solution that will save you time, money, and frustration. Rhine Air is a simple, minimally invasive procedure that significantly reduces postnasal drip and stuffiness. We're taking new patients in Federal Way and in Auburn. Come see us. Book your appointment at sternsinus.com.
Tyrese live at Muckleshoot Event Center, Sunday, July 13th, 8 p.m. You've seen him on the screen. You've heard him on the radio. Now see him live for an unforgettable night. Get tickets before they sell out at muckleshootcasino.com. Tyrese, only at Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Are you frustrated with those trendy weight loss shots and not getting the long-term results you really want? This is Dr. Ryan Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss, and whether you've hit a plateau, can't handle the side effects, or watch the pounds creep back after stopping, there's a better way. Our program has helped over 4,000 people lose up to 10 to 20% of their body weight in just 8 weeks without expensive injections or uncomfortable side effects. Our doctor-developed program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast. Ready for real lasting results? Visit eastsideweightlossclinic.com now to schedule your free consultation.
Did he just say Eastside Weight Loss Clinic is half the cost and works twice as fast as weight loss injections? Well, if that's not reason enough, you don't risk the scary side effects or gaining the weight back as soon as you stop. Eastside Weight Loss Clinic is natural, and it works.
Many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month or two, and you can do our program remotely from anywhere you live. Schedule your free consultation at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. That's eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary. Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
Get ready to rock with Bret Michaels at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center, Thursday night, July 10th. Rock and roll rebel Bret Michaels. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Bret Michaels rocks your world, July 10th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
Hi, my name is Jordan Gage, head of school at King Schools. Is tuition cost the number one thing keeping you from making the leap into Christian education? Did you know that King Schools awards over $2.3 million in tuition assistance every year? 25% of the families that make up this incredible Kings community utilize our variable tuition program to make Kings more accessible. The team at Kings would love to have you on campus for a tour and consultation to see how to make it possible for your family to experience the difference in Christian education at Kings.
Mention this ad and no application fee. Go to joinkings.org for more info.
Hey, baseball fans, Rick Riz here. I'm excited to introduce you to my good friend Keith Dashafee, owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Keith?
Thanks, Rick. At Pella Windows and Doors, we pride ourselves on delivering top quality windows and doors that enhance the beauty and energy efficiency of your home. Our products are built to last with innovative designs and exceptional craftsmanship. Whether you're looking to upgrade your windows or install new doors, Pella has you covered.
That's fantastic, Keith. Don't wait. Schedule your free appointment today at PellaPNW.com.
Ready for some summer hoops? Register your team for the July 12th and 13th Everett 3-on-3 tournament presented by Boeing. 4 players to a team, 2 days of exciting action, 1 incredible tournament. Players of all ages and abilities are encouraged to come out and play. You've got to register your team at Everett3on3.net by July 1st. Each player gets an Amazon player bag. A special thank you to event sponsors City of Everett, Scott Dahl Real Estate, Coastal Community Bank, and Everett Downtown Storage.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Text line is there for you at 866-979-3776. Coming up at 3 o'clock, our weekly conversation with Ryan Roland-Smith, so stay tuned for that. Always fun to watch Dave and technology work hand in hand. Just the look of
There's been so many times that I've said, hey, this isn't working, and Matt comes over and clicks a maximum of 2 different times, and boom, there it is.
It just works.
Yeah.
He came in, I was half paying attention, and you brought him in here for assistance, and then as I finished what I was doing, I looked up, and he just goes, Bob, do you want me to click a link for you?
Put a link on the show sheet. There's like 30 links on the show sheet.
I highlighted and usually when Lefko does it, you highlight it and it pops up.
That's not how links work, Dave.
No, it does.
I'm telling
it works
you.
on my computer.
Lefko puts the full URL in. I just put the link in because I think it looks better.
And I think it looks worse.
I assumed it was easier.
It looks worse.
And I assumed wrong.
It's not easy.
I assumed wrong. I thought my hosts had the ability to look at a link and to click a link, a technology that has been around since the turn of the century.
One of them does.
And I was wrong. Bob did it. Bob clicked the link. Bob's reading about Brian Wu right now.
I highlighted it and then got nothing.
Why are you highlighting it?
I don't know. That's what I do with Lefko's. Lefko puts it in there, and I highlight it, and boom, comes up.
You don't need to
click on
highlight
it.
I thought I was helping.
Yeah,
Bob, I thought I was helping.
You know what the thing is?
You did fine.
This is easier, actually.
Oh, you got to talk about Brian Wu now because I'm about to lose my mind.
That's so good. Oh, so good. Brian Wu.
Jeez, so different than when Lefko does it.
It is different.
It's easier.
Brian Wu, 16th straight start of at least 6 innings, something that has not been done to begin a season in franchise history since Hall of Famer Randy Johnson opened the 1993 season with 20 starts of at least 6 innings.
It's ridiculous.
93.
You know what's funny about Wu too? Just his personality. Like I said, you're starting. I noticed it this year when we interviewed him earlier in the season, but you see like his demeanor. He might be the one guy on the rotation that's the most like Randy Johnson. Like he's got a nastiness to him, and he's starting to like express himself. And I saw him talking to the umpire, and he was like kind of animated, and I don't know. He just kind of has like this confidence, and I don't know. I mean, Gilbert is still the one that's probably the most intense. But
Kirby's pretty intense, too. You see how mad he gets if he walks somebody. I mean, there's a lot of edge in this rotation.
Yeah.
Castillo's just kind of pleasant all the time.
Yeah,
even if things are going bad, he's just kind of like, yeah, it's all good.
Well, yeah, I was talking about how that rotation is pretty, they're pretty fearsome. They have some guys that really, come at you. And Castillo, just kind of in his own different way, is that way.
Oh, he's aggressive. I mean, it's just more his demeanor is just more, hey, it's light.
Right.
He doesn't seem to get too worked up when things are bad or when things are good. He's kind of even keeled, where the other guys, they're kind of wearing their intensity on their sleeve. You see it. And you're right about Wu. He does seem much more comfortable. He seems more animated. And think of this. This is, of everybody in this rotation coming into the season, I remember we were talking about, should Gilbert be the opening day starter and who's the ace and blah, blah, blah. And I kept pounding the drum for Wu, saying when he was on last year, he was as dominant as anybody in this rotation, and he was electric. His only caveat was, can he be healthy? Because he didn't start last year until May, remember? So he's right. And then he had a hamstring thing, I think, at some point in the season. So the physical nature of it was the question with him. Can he be durable? Can he give you innings? Is he going to make every start? He's the most durable guy you've got in the rotation to this point. Not only has he made every start, he's gone at least 6 in every start.
Yeah.
So he's been the picture of durability and reliability. Now, we'll see what there's still obviously an entire half of baseball left to play, so we'll see how it pans out. But to this point, it's interesting. He was the one guy that we sort of questioned about availability, and he gets hurt. You got to be careful with him. And he's the one out there giving you at least 6 every inning. So what he's doing has just been amazing. He's been fantastic. And then Dan Wilson, just talking about that consistency he's seen from him.
He's been, really consistent, and I think with him, just using that fastball effectively. But I think, being able to use the secondaries as well has been a big plus for him. And some good changeups today, some good sweepers, and that gets them off the fastball enough to where he can really explode it with them up in the zone. And I think he's really dialed into using his secondaries at the right times, and then being able to pop the fastball with that.
Yeah, just fantastic. Gave up 2 runs in that start. That neither were earned because he should have been out of the inning. JP, I'm not sure what happened on that throw. Poor throw. Sixth error of the season.
Yeah.
He's had some funky throws lately where you're seeing the guy have to pick it on routine plays where he's throwing it low.
Particularly Solano.
Yeah. And so they should have been out of that inning. They're not. That runner's on first. Here comes Corey Seager, home run.
Yeah.
So should have been out of it. But, I mean, he's sitting here right now. He's got an ERA of 2.93.
Yeah.
He's been outstanding.
I was going to say about that error is that, a lot of times you look back and go, oh, yeah, you only had, 3 or 4, whatever. It's amazing how costly they are.
Oh, yeah.
Like in Major League Baseball, you just can't.
Yeah. Well, and even if it doesn't hit you in the moment with a home run like it did there, how many more pitches does he have to throw?
Right.
He probably could have gone 7 innings in this game had they recorded that out.
I think they said on the broadcast
it was like 11 extra pitches. So yeah, I mean, often they'll get out of the inning. Okay, no harm done. Yeah, but the pitcher had to throw 11 more pitches or 12 or whatever it ends up being. So yeah, errors are costly in a million different ways, and you saw it there. But he's just back to Wu. He's been fantastic, and he talked about his consistency in going deep in games.
I mean, honestly, just trying to do my job. And I think my job's to go deep into games. My job's to take some workload off the bullpen, and I feel like the way that I kind of approach pitching and the way that I approach games, if I do my job correctly, it's efficient and it gives me the opportunity. So just have to do the little things right consistently, and then those opportunities come.
It's been fun to watch because, again, he was the one guy. I think if we would have asked the listeners to text in, all right, out of these 5 starters, who's the one you worry about not being physically able to make every start? Who's the one you worry about injury?
Yeah.
I think everybody would have said Wu, just based on his history, right? Not a knock on him, but just based on, he didn't even start the season until May last year because he was hurt. Then he got hurt during the year. He hasn't pitched very long. He's got the least amount of experience of everybody in that rotation. So, yeah, he would have been, for me, that would have been my answer.
Yeah. No, I agree.
As much as I was bullish on him and trying to beat the drum, I would still answer that question, who am I most worried about getting hurt? It would have been Wu.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's another part of his maturity and his development is that, much like, and I'm sure he sees Logan Gilbert and all the things that he does, that, the name of the game is to stay healthy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been amazing watching him. And, like you said, he's got a blow up here and there, but like for the most part, it's been incredible.
ERA under 3.
Yeah.
In the game today, he's got 2.93.
2.93.
Outstanding. All right, well, we'll get Ryan Roland-Smith's take on that and everything else going on with the Mariners coming out of that road trip. He's going to join us next with Wyman and Bob. It's Seattle Sports on 710.
We've got some breaking news.
And the next offer on the way to Cal, swinging a drive deep to right field.
Big Dumper is in the Derby.
Goodbye, baseball.
You're going to get tossed meatballs and stuff. All you got to do is connect. You have enough power. You got a big dumper. That ball is going to travel.
What would happen if you switched Cal and Judge? Like, what if Cal was doing this for the Yankees and Judge was doing this for the Mariners? Who's the MVP then?
Hear Cal Raleigh in the Home Run Derby Monday, July 14th, right here on Seattle Sports.
The Golfapalooza of the summer, the Butts Golf Sidewalk Sale. Titleist, FootJoy, TaylorMade, Callaway, the biggest names at 50 to 70% off. It's your time to save, and it all starts Thursday at Butts.
It's the Got to Go used car sales event at West Hills Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, June 27th through July 6th. Choose from over 350 used vehicles in stock and ready to move. West Hills Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, part of the Hazelwood Auto Group.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and, of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Was drafted in 1999 by the Philadelphia 76ers, and that was just absolutely a dream come true.
Todd's playing in the NBA is unique. His battle with neuropathy is not.
I first started noticing problems a couple years into my NBA career, and I felt like my sock was just balled up right in the arch of my foot, and there'd be areas of burning and tingling, and then there'd be other areas of deadness where there would be no response to touch. We tried everything possible, from surgery to different drugs, to try and take care of some of the symptoms.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, non-drug, pain-free procedures that have helped thousands of neuropathy sufferers find relief.
Now I'm able to spend more time doing the things that I enjoy, being on my feet.
If you experience numbness, shooting, or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
You know what's faster than your paycheck? Literally everything. It's time to get your pay up to speed. With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors. Available in select states. Expedited transfers available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details.
Hey, Mike Salk here with some exciting news from a family-owned business that's local here in Western Washington. Yeah, we love to root for these guys. It's Riverside Roofing, and they've once again earned the prestigious GAF Master Elite President's Club. Well, that puts them in the 99.9th percentile of all roofers in the nation. So you might remember I've been talking about only 3% of roofing companies nationally qualify for GAF Master Elite status. But how many of those achieve President's Club? Well, that's only 2%. Truly the cream of the crop. Proudly from Marysville and serving homeowners all over Western Washington, Riverside Roofing is the roofing company you can trust. So what does that mean for you, the homeowner? Well, it means you're hiring the best. A company that gets high marks in performance, reliability, and service, plus an elite warranty to match. Highly reviewed and highly recommended, certainly by me. Riverside Roofing is your go-to local roofing contractor. Book them now and get that roof done fast. I highly recommend them. Go to riversideroofingllc.com. They are the roofing company you can trust.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends over at Xfinity. You know, change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, we know that change is all around us. Songs are rewritten and remade. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists, well, they come and go. Even our taste in music, as we get older, can change a bit. But no matter how things change in 5 years, there's one thing that will stay the same. And that is the price of your internet. That's right. Xfinity is introducing a 5-year price guarantee. It means you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with their best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Are you surprised? Well, life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Now, restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August of 2024. Go check it all out right online at Xfinity.com/deals.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Well, Mariners look to keep the wins happening as they return home for a 7-game homestand that begins tonight with the Kansas City Royals in town, the beginning of a 4-game series. Mariners send George Kirby to the hill. He'll face off against Michael Wacha. You can catch all of the action beginning at 5:30 with the pregame show. 6:40 first pitch right here, Seattle Sports on 710. Meanwhile, Steelers making moves. They acquired Jalen Ramsey and tight end Jonnu Smith from the Miami Dolphins in exchange for Minkah Fitzpatrick. And now, according to sources, multiple teams have been talking with them about a trade for their pass rusher TJ Watt, who skipped the team's most recent minicamp. Steelers haven't shown any willingness to deal him so far, but he's made it clear he's unhappy with his contract. And they believe that the interest from the outside will now increase. So we'll keep an eye on TJ Watt and where he may land.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
I actually talked about it on You Betcha on the podcast.
He is an unrivaled source of baseball knowledge.
Anyway, what were we talking about?
A guy who always has your back.
Pants back on, try and make the uniform look sweet in a split second. Come out, and I'm trying to open the door. I'm like, what the? And I said, listen, buddy, put your babysitting shoes on, because Dad's going out for Father's Day. You got to watch Top Gun. You guys don't listen when I speak. Talking to a brick wall right now.
Ryan Roland-Smith, every week with Wyman and Bob.
That's the open right there.
He's here, everybody, as he is each and every Monday, joining us for a conversation about all things baseball, all things Mariners. He's with us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Look at him. You know him. You love him. Our buddy Ryan Roland-Smith. How are you, man?
I'm fantastic. How you guys doing?
We're doing great. Doing great. That's a winning road trip. You take 6 of 10 and want to get your take on everything that happened there. But we were just talking about Brian Wu in the last segment. 16 starts, all 6 innings or more. Only guy in baseball to do it. If I asked you at the beginning of the season, before the season started, and I said, of the 5 starters, who are you most concerned with their durability? Who would you say is most likely to suffer an injury out of the 5? Because for me, it would have been Wu, and I was as high on Wu as anybody, but based on his history, that would have been my choice.
Right. Yeah, I feel like, it was always Brian Wu, Bryce Miller. It's like, can you get him through a 6-month season? And I think, Bryce kind of showed that last year, able to do his thing. But with Brian Wu, it was a situation where, look, he's been great, but he hasn't shown that you can get from April through to September. And by the way, look, he still hasn't either, right? But,
right.
Everything you're watching, though, with him, and you look at little things, like especially looking through from a pitcher's lens with the way, whether it's mechanically speaking, whether it's, if he's throwing a bunch of breaking balls, if there's a drop-off in velocity, if all of a sudden he goes to secondary pitches a ton in high-stress situations. And he really doesn't. All those things are really, you can kind of check the box to say there's really, knock on wood, nothing to say that there's a little bit of a stress factor on him in any of these starts. And look, the fact that he's just getting deep in games, and that's been the biggest inconsistency with this Mariners rotation. It's been really consistent overall, but when you pull it apart, it's like, man, the what we're so used to seeing in 23 and 24 was them getting deep into games, and he's been that one guy able to do that. Everyone else has been, whether it's been times on the IL or that 5-inning start or that 100 pitches in 5 innings, whatever it may be, but he's avoided all that. He's been brilliant, man. He's been unbelievable.
What about some of the like intangibles with him, Ryan? We were talking about how just like his ferocity and just his confidence. I mean, you know, and I was kind of like that. I mean, it took probably till like my third year to like, you know, this is my job, you know, and have that kind of confidence and, you know, just being on top of it. Have you seen those kinds of little things with Wu as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, this rotation overall, you got to remember too, like they're all still so young in their careers, right? And you kind of go through these stages where you first get to the big leagues, you know, whether there's hype on you or there's not, you get to the big leagues and you want to prove that you're not just someone filling a gap or, hey, you could have potential. You want to prove that you're an established major league starter. You want to prove that, you know what, you can push me in that 85th pitch onwards in a tough spot in the 6th inning, and you don't have to go to the bullpen because I'm your best option. And also, too, let's not forget, you know, he gives up that home run to Seager, and you know, what does he do after that? So you watch some of these little things, and I think he's well beyond that stage of obviously having to prove himself. But I think now he's establishing himself to be that, you know, that guy that when teams come into town, it's like, man, do we have Brian Wu on the last game of this series? Or, man, do we have to, you know, go through a Brian Wu where he's just going to attack us in the strike zone and essentially speed us up and get deep? It's going to be a 1 or 2, 3 run in this outing. So I think he's gotten to that point. And honestly, guys, looking at like the way, you know, this All-Star, everyone's talking about the All-Star game and the voting and everything else. I feel like he's kind of on that fence in regards to it's him and a few other guys that you could maybe get one of those last spots. I just think there was that little stretch there where he gave up 3 runs, then 4 runs, then I think it was a 5-run outing. That kind of, man, that little bit of a bump in the road cost him his first All-Star game. That's kind of the level he's at. And so it's exciting to see, especially at his age.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. I mean, he's got an ERA of 2.93 at this point, despite blowups, and he's been fantastic. What was your you know, I'm looking at that road trip going, it's a success. You took 6 of 4, yet there's kind of mixed feelings coming out of it. You look at the last 5 games. They had 3 quality starts in those 5 games. They only won 1 of those. The offense just went dead. Even in the Emerson Hancock game, the final was 10-1. He gave you 5 innings and gave up 2 runs. So he did what he normally does. He gives you 5 or 6 and allows 2 runs, gives you a chance to win. That one got blown up because of, you know, Zach Pop went out there and exploded. But I mean, what do you make of the Jekyll and Hyde nature of this offense?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, especially in that Texas Rangers series, right, on the weekend, you got Nathan Eovaldi who's coming back from the IL, so it's going to be like a short outing. There's no way he's going to be like, hey, I need 6 rehab outings. He's going to want to come right back. So you look at that and go, all right, great. Now what we can do is chip in to that bullpen, and that's a weak link for the Texas Rangers in regards to putting up some runs in those middle innings. And it, you know, is a situation where you talk about the offense where it just, man, when it really counted and they needed that hit, it was lacking a little bit. Then the next couple days, you've got Kumar Rocker, who literally he pitched on one side of the plate, you know, which you look at that and say, man, okay, if he's going to pitch, if he's going to pitch on that side of the plate, you can really sort of eliminate half the plate, but they just couldn't quite get to him. And then the last game against, you know, Jack Leiter, another guy who's been struggling, man, you look at him, man, he made a lot of mistakes and they just couldn't put him over the edge. So there was those little things when you look at that, you know, a little bit concerning. But look, overall, you said it, man. This road trip was really successful in some tough conditions with some rain, extra innings, wore out the bullpen, and still be able to walk away on that Sunday. I know Texas wore out their bullpen too, but to walk away on Sunday when they were running on fumes with that bullpen, man, it speaks volumes. So I think it was as tough as it was, a lot of long days at the park. It was, I mean, you walk away from that, I'd say glass half full.
Can you tell those guys to pipe down back
who's
there?
the meathead in the back there?
You guys are
– well,
is that
that's my
Goldie?
fault. It's my fault because I don't have my headphones on me, and I messed up. I didn't get the radio booth prepped to have my favorite 15 minutes of the week. So that's my fault. It's all on me.
His favorite 15 minutes. We love it. Hey, give us a little preview. It looks like Kansas City. They've got wit. I mean, they have some good players, no question. Yeah. But and pretty good pitching. But yeah, they offensively they're struggling a little bit.
Yeah, offensively, there's not that bat in the middle of the lineup, and this has been for them the last couple of years. They just don't for whatever reason, just that power, lacking that power. And they've got Caglione. I can't wait to watch him playing in right field. He could be that power threat, but he's not quite there yet. But you don't have that big power threat. But, man, they've been struggling. So this is a big opportunity. One thing I'd love to see tonight, with George Kirby, I'm going to talk about this during the game as well. One pitcher he's lost, and I spoke to Pete Woodworth about, trying to find it again.
Splitter.
That split. I've spoke to you guys about that pitch. So he started throwing a changeup just as a bit of a workaround. But I'm dying to see if there's been something in the last couple of days where he's found maybe some little mechanical cue where he can get back to that pitch. Because, man, some of these lefties in the Royals lineup, regardless of what they're doing or what they're doing offensively, this is that moment where you can say, you know what, I'm going to get 10 to 15 of these pitches in game speed and get this pitch back because he can be on another level. And I really think George Kirby is going to be an X factor in the second half of the season if he can get something that goes away to lefties and that pitcher gets to the below the strike zone with depth to righties too. I think he really needs that. He's missing that. So I want to see that from him tonight as well.
How often would that happen with you, where you just lose your feel for a pitch? Like, man, I had this thing mastered. I could count on a splitter, and now I can't land it. I mean, because I was watching, because you pointed it out in his last start, I was looking for it, and he hardly threw it at all. And when he did, it wasn't to great effect.
And if you notice too, Bob, there's a couple early in the game, and I was watching. He tried it, and he's like, no, not happening. So you get to game speed, and the games count. It's on a bullpen session. If you don't have it, you don't have it. It happens all the time, and it happened to me a bunch, obviously. It's not. And this is what gets me. If you haven't pitched, or you haven't pitched for a while, like I haven't, sometimes you just kind of expect that these guys can just, be perfect down and away, or they don't have it, or what's wrong. That's happens so much, and you have to sometimes fight your way to get it in 2 or 3 innings. And then by the fourth, man, boom, I found it. But guess what? I'm 60, 70 pitches deep. And all of a sudden, there's different situations that determine that I can't go to that pitch, right? And so it happens all the time. Even the best guys you watch in the game, and I'll put George Kirby up there, man. When he's on, man, he's one of the toughest because you can combine the stuff with the command. But it happens so much. And sometimes, look, I'm guilty of it too. I walk away and go, I expect these guys to be robots and just be able to dominate that one area of the plate when they don't have that pitch.
But when that happens, though, do you find that it's more of a mental thing, like I don't have confidence, or is it mechanical, like, oh, my grip, I'm gripping it different, my stride is, because everything's so precise in your delivery that if one little thing mechanically is off, obviously it impacts the outcome of that pitch. So would you say it's more mental, or do you think it's a mechanical thing?
I think it goes both ways, right? In other words, sometimes you don't have it early, or in the bullpen session, you're working on something, you don't quite have that confidence in it. And so mentally, you can just shut it down. But mechanically, sometimes, man, it can take you a second. You don't have time at this level. Second inning, third inning, you're still trying to find that good depth on that breaking ball, whatever it is. And so the mechanical side then seeps into the mental side. Then all of a sudden, you got that runner on second in the 5th, 6th inning, and you don't want to go to that pitch because you've just spent the last hour and a half trying to find it. Even though you may have it mentally, I'm not convicted in that pitch. And so it kind of goes both ways, but man, it can really throw you sideways when everything feels good and you don't have that one out pitch or that one option, especially, if it's for George Kirby to lefties, man. And that lefty comes up in that spot and you're just like, you know what, I have to go to plan B, plan C to get this guy out. And hopefully that plan B, plan C is pretty dominant. And most of these guys at this level, it is, but it comes down to being confident and going to that option.
Hey, Ryan, I want to ask you about a couple of the guys that, kind of chimed in yesterday, which is always good to see, like a guy like Miles Mastroboni make a couple of plays that wins a game for you. And then Garver is just, always been kind of interesting to me. I mean, it looks like it's the every other year for him. If you look at his batting average, he went 207, then 270, then 172, and now he's back up to 227. But where do you, of those guys, tell us about Garver. Like, do you think he can be a consistent contributor, or is he going to be a guy that just every once in a while shows up?
Track record wise, and you mentioned the odd years. In other words, 2023. Look at what he did in 2023. Now, I was actually about to sit here before the game and go through some tendencies in 2023 compared to 2024. One thing I noticed with him in 24 was last year, and it seeped into this year, and he kind of adjusted a little bit. he was just so patient, way too patient. And it is so tough to hit when you're deep in the counts and you're facing 2 strikes. And so, looking back at 2023, were there times where he picked his spots and said, you know what, I'm jumping on this 0-0. I don't care if I'm going to get a secondary pitch or something that's tough to hit. I'm going to jump on it. I'm going to be aggressive on the first pitch or first couple pitches. I've noticed that with him when he sort of turned the corner this year, he just swinging the bat more, just purely swinging the bat. And I don't know what happened with him last year or in the beginning of this year where he wanted to have that approach, where he wanted to be more patient or on base. He was in his head about that, or some of the off the field things. We know he would put a lot of pressure on himself. But I just think, man, he's so talented. He's a big leaguer. He's on for a lot of money. It's in there. He had a really good playoffs. So that tells you he can play when the game's on the line and it's those clutch moments or high leverage, with the heart rate's up. So, you know what? Let it eat, man. Swing that bat, dude. With all that being said, and by the way, too, this is going to sound absolutely off the wall crazy, and I was on the road with him, but I want to get down there. I do want to throw this his way. Sometimes when you have like a little injury or you get taken one to the jaw, it can distract you enough where your mind is not so fixated in being perfect or living up to this or living up to that. Your focus is purely on, I'm sure, Dave, you dealt with this with injuries when you were carrying while you were playing.
Yeah.
When your focus is, okay, look, I've got this injury. I'm just going to try and slug it out, man. I'm just going to try and survive here. All of a sudden, you get way more present. And so I was thinking about this when he got hit in the jaw and he didn't hit the IL. Sometimes when you're carrying some sort of little niggling injury or something, you can get a little bit more sort of hyper-focused on more of the just nothing to lose. I'm just going up, as opposed to this big. You know what I'm saying?
Totally agree.
It's something crazy, and I know it sounds wild, but that's something I'm going to throw his way when I see him down on the field this afternoon when I get a chance to talk to these guys.
Yeah.
What are you going to do if he looks at you and goes, I don't know what you're talking about?
That could happen. That could happen.
He might. Absolutely. And I've had that before too. I'm like, hey, and by the way too, like, you know what I noticed? And I've talked to guys who they get done playing. While they're playing, they don't want to drop any guard. And then all of a sudden they get done playing. And I've heard some guys that just retired recently. He didn't sound like that at all 6 months ago. What happened? So I get it, man. It's all good.
Do you ever get, I'm sorry, Bob, do you ever get like when you're doing an interview and you're like, this could either be like a grand slam question or it could just be a total dud. You have those instances?
Hey, listen, I've had a chance to fill in with you guys in the past. I absolutely love it, and I'm so grateful to do it. Interviewing people is really tough because, man, if you like, I had just had Munoz on my show just recently, and we were cracking jokes before we jumped on, so there was that good sort of camaraderie. But there's times, man, I'm sitting there going, dude, I am sorry I'm going to make you sit here for 15 minutes while I just throw the same questions at you. And I'm like, it feels like you want to just hit a home run every time you ask a question. And then you get that cliche back. Asking people questions is one of the toughest things to do in our industry, right? I mean, you guys do it all the time. You do a great job at it, but I struggle with it sometimes.
I do it off the air too.
Well, Bob's, he makes people feel awkward off the air as well.
Hey, just looking at this team coming out of that 10-game road trip, again, success. You win 6 of 10, that's success. But we saw a hole. You saw flaws. Did anything change in your opinion as to what they need to do at the trade deadline, how they need to address this team? I'm looking at the infield, Ryan, going, I love the young guys. I love Cole Young. I love Williamson, played tremendous defense. But the reality is you're not getting production from any of your infield spots other than catcher. That's the reality. And in second base, you don't count on it. You count on it from your corner spots. You're just not. So I'm looking at that going, okay, that they need to bring in a bat that addresses the infield lack of production, and I'd love to see an arm in the bullpen, some middle relief. But what about you? Did anything change for you in terms of what you think the priority should be?
I still think I thought this a week ago. I'll say it again too. I still feel like you need to fill up. It's going to be the boring answer, and you can eye roll this. You still have to fill up that middle part of the bullpen. And if you had a situation, and look, I agree with you. Look, offensively, a little bit more slug at the corners, a little bit more thump. That threat in the middle of the lineup, 100% go for it. But just looking around, there's a lot of starting pitching out there. There's the corner infield spots, or that, call it a rental, call it a impact bat in the middle lineup. It's going to be competitive to get that. It really is. I'm not saying that's why they should shy away. I agree with you in that regard. I just still feel like, man, that this team, when it's all said and done, look back and say, all right, the pitching is good. It's not getting as deep as it did last year. And the bullpen, man, there is just that situation. And they dealt with this last year too at the end of the year, and they missed out by a couple games. If you can get, call it 2 arms in that fill up that 6th, 7th, and 8th inning, you've got a Munoz, Matt Brash, and someone else who is that frontline arm that can basically have closer stuff, has closer experience, and he's filling up that 8th, and you know he can be dependable in regards to going 3 days in a row, and you don't have to work around that. That takes the pressure off Matt Brash as well, who's been brilliant, takes the pressure off Gabe Spire, and you don't have to rely so heavily on a Vargas, for example, that you're still trying to figure out. That, I'm telling you right now, that'll just stabilize what is going to get this team to that next level. But I agree with you. Yep, they need offense, but I still think priority number one, if they fill up that bullpen and get that good 5 to 6 from the rotation, that's going to put them in a good spot.
Hey, real quick, when I was a player...
By the way, Bob does not like that answer at all.
No,
I know that because I know you want offense.
Well, no, but I said when I asked you the question, I said I think they need a bullpen arm. Yeah, it's not my priority, but they need it. Right. I agree with you.
Yeah, we love guys from the bullpen. Love it. Got to have more of them. Hey, is there a guy, I was going to say I used to do this when I was a player, but then, now as a broadcaster, there are just certain guys around the league that I just love watching in the NFL. Is there anybody, and hopefully it would be somebody on the Royals here, but who are some of the players around the league that you just respect their game and watching them play?
First of all, speaking of the Royals, Vinny Pasquantino, great dude. I can't wait to go say hi to him. We kind of connected a little bit at the World Baseball Classic. Great dude. Not my favorite guy to watch, but he's a good dude. Yeah. Obviously, Bobby Witt Jr. on the Royals. But I still go back to Jarren Duran, man. I love the way he plays. I think he's so, look, we just saw the Red Sox, and they have a situation where they just got rid of Devers, and you got these 3 young players coming up. They could. From the way he plays, from when he gets to the batter's box to when he rounds bases in the dugout, you can learn so much from that. I love players that have that kind of intensity for 9 innings. I love it, whatever they're doing. So Duran, I'm a huge fan of. Look, I'll be honest with you. I absolutely love. I'll tune in all the time to watch Mike Trout hit. Still, I love his swing, and he's just Yeah, definitely Duran, I'd have to say, is up there for sure. And I'll think about 5 or 6 when I get off here.
You can text them to us.
Tell us next time.
You the group chat.
Yeah. By the way, some guy named Adam Ray, I don't know if you're familiar with him. He sent in a text and said, ask Ryan what guests we can look forward to on the top step. Guest suggestions: Rich Amaral, Mariner Moose, Dave Wyman.
There you go. Hey, Wyman was on the version of it before I hit Root Sports. By the way, we had a great chat. I don't know if Dave Wyman remembers that.
We did have that. It was during the pandemic. I remember it
exactly
very clearly.
That was good stuff. He was sitting on his deck chair out in the backyard. I said, dude, do you have somewhere better to sit? Or
I was in all my glory in my backyard, but apparently I didn't make the cut for the TV show.
No, it was a great
well, hey, at least you got asked. All right, hey, it was good to talk to you, Ryan. We'll do it again next week.
Hey, dress up in the Moose outfit, and you can come every episode if you want.
Perfect. I gotta come in costume. Perfect. We appreciate it, man.
Thanks, Ryan.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
See you, mate.
There you go. Ryan Roland-Smith, brought to you by Mazda of Everett. That's every single week. In case you missed any part of that, you can find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Meanwhile, do the Seahawks have another option to bolster their offensive line? We're going to hear one suggestion. Let you know what that is. Coming up next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
After a gutty series win,
Donovan Solano driving in the run,
and 3 straight extra innings games in Texas,
the Mariners have taken the lead in the 10th inning.
The Mariners are back home at T-Mobile with George Kirby on the mound to kick off the 7-game homestand.
A huge strikeout for Kirby.
Mariners Royals. First pitch tonight at 6:40. Wyman and Bob take you to pregame at 5:30 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports, and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen, and PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Need a new roof but not in the budget? A new roof doesn't have to break the bank. Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Right now, State Roofing and Exteriors is offering 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's 2 years with no payments while getting the protection your home deserves. But this offer won't last forever. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to get on our summer schedule now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
It's our biggest event of the summer, the Butts Golf Sidewalk Sale. Thousands of items on sale on the best brands in the game and an unthinkable savings. Don't be left out. It all starts Thursday for 4 days only at Butts.
Tired of sitting on your suitcase? 2 words, packing cubes. Sometimes a different way is the better way. Like the SR 509 Expressway, an alternate route that'll help manage congestion on I-5 and other local roads. Now open and free through summer.
Motorcycle accident cases require a thorough investigation by a team of experienced legal professionals if they have any chance of being successful. Insurance companies, juries, and even the police tend to assume the worst about motorcycle riders. Get help from an experienced team of attorneys that have successfully resolved hundreds of motorcycle accident cases over the past 30 years. Call Davis Law Group for a free legal consultation or get my free book on motorcycle accidents at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com. That's Davis Law Group, better service and even better results.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
I saw her texting, coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Citizens, since we each upgraded to Xfinity in our homes, the Wi-Fi has been booming. It's fair to say our town has officially become a boomtown.
Mayor, will I be able to drop into multiplayer gaming battles with low lag?
The lag won't be an issue, but your questionable skills may be.
And what if I have hundreds of devices on the Wi-Fi? Purely hypothetical.
Seems like a lot, but sure, hundreds of devices all booming together with the Xfinity Gateway. Yes, friends and neighbors, with Xfinity, the Wi-Fi is booming.
The Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Now get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best-in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed. All in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract. All with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with X5 Complete required for unlimited data except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Our thanks once again to Ryan Roland-Smith, who joined us in the previous segment. In case you guys just missed that conversation, didn't catch all of it, you'll be able to find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com.
You know, it's funny. He was talking about Mitch Garver getting hit in the jar. And I was wondering, what is that?
I think it's the jaw.
Is that a nickname for like a certain body part?
Jar.
Right in the jar.
Tomato. You know how it is, Dave. You making fun of his accent?
Yes, I am. I've been doing it for years.
Wow.
And yeah, so
Jeez,
now I got a yellow T-shirt.
Hasn't the guy gone through enough?
I can't wear that yellow T-shirt.
Why? You could cut it. I've seen people wear it. They cut off the sleeves and they strut around. Looks cool.
Yeah, that was Lefko. I think he cropped it too, didn't he? Did he? Yeah, I
Did
think
he cut the bottom of it too?
I believe so.
Is it a belly shirt now?
Yeah.
Is he like Zeke Elliott?
Yeah. Remember Zeke Elliott in the draft?
Yeah. Yeah.
You remember Dan Morgan? Dan Morgan was like a personnel
Panthers?
guy. Yeah. Now I think he's still the GM for. I go up to him and I go, "Did you see what Zeke Elliott was wearing?" He's like, "Yeah, that was stupid." But in the draft, he had like was it a tux or something?
That cut off shirt
with a cropped shirt. Yeah, it was like a suit.
And now it's Lefko without the abs.
Yeah.
So, all right. Meanwhile, ESPN, they did a breakdown. They identified a need for every team, a move that they think every NFL team still needs to make before the season begins. So when it comes to the Seahawks, their suggestion, sign guard Brandon Scherf. And their little blurb they wrote, the interior O-line was a major problem for the Hawks in 2024. While first-round rookie Gray Zabel should stabilize the left guard position, the other positions are still in flux. Oluwatimi is penciled in at center, where he was below average in both pass block win rate and especially in run block win rate last season. The current leader at right guard is 2024 third-round pick Christian Haynes. Why not bring in a former Pro Bowler who can provide stability and veteran leadership? Scherf is still available, could take the right guard position, kicking Haynes over to battle Oluwatimi for the center position in training camp.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. They brought in Shaquille Griffin. We were talking about the corner spot being a little bit light, and, you know, I remember McDonald at the end of the OTAs was saying, well, there's going to be a battle between the 3, 4, and 5, you know, to see who emerges there and makes the team and all that. They've got lots at guard, but I mean,
there's a lot of names. Do they have the guy though?
Yeah, exactly. And actually, I'm not really that worried about guard as much as I am center. And we'll talk to a guy in about 30 minutes here, Robbie Tobeck, that, you know, when you have your center down, good things happen. You know, and if you have a guy that's like when they had Max Unger and when, you know, this awesome line that they had in the, you know, early 2000s with Robbie Tobeck was just so secured and just locked down. You just knew. I mean, look, they're going to get beat every once in a while, but I mean, they were just dispensing justice, as Mark Schlereth likes to say. So, but yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense. And especially if you look at Brandon Scherf, I mean, you know, he's fairly durable. He's been a multiple-time Pro Bowler. And, yeah, what is he, 30? I think he's 33 years old. Lots of experience there. But I don't see him doing it. But I like the thought there if they're thinking about maybe bolstering that position. But I don't know. To me, I don't know how you feel about it. I feel like you've got, you know, Bradford there and you've got Christian Haynes and –
I keep deferring to what you were saying about they feel like they've got the guys.
Yeah.
Now, which of the group is going to be your starting five. We're not sure, but they think within the group that they've got, and there are a bunch of names. Are they there? I don't know. We did our video where we were talking about O-line and things we were curious about, and that video's up there at seattlesports.com. And they isolated part of it and tweeted out, how will Anthony Bradford fit the 2025 Seahawks offense? And it's a video of you and I talking about it. And people responded to it. One guy, Chris, said, hopefully he never plays because he's awful.
Anthony Bradford?
Yeah. I'm like, except that he's not awful. There's times he's dominant.
Yeah.
But his problem is he's not that guy all of the time for whatever reason.
Yeah, he's kind of a Jekyll and Hyde player. And really, it's not like all of a sudden he gets beat physically. He doesn't get beat physically. But I think it's more on the mental side for him. I'm rooting for him. I really am. I would love to have like a dominant center who is just right guard who is just locked in all the time. And you know that if you run on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 over him, you're gonna pick it up. But yeah, I mean, it could be Christian Haynes. Yeah, I think he's a little bit more versatile. But I asked people that would know out at practice. I'm like, can Anthony Bradford play in this offense with the wide stretch zone? Is he athletic enough? And they said absolutely. So I'm like, okay.
So is center the bigger concern then? Would you like to see Haynes, as they suggest there, compete with Oluwatimi for that spot?
No, I mean, I think his only competition really is, he plays a little bit, but Jalen Sundell is a guy that is incredibly versatile. So, but, he was an undrafted free agent from last year. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm more concerned about that. I hope it's Oluwatimi because it was a guy that they drafted from Michigan, really smart guy. But
Where are you at with the metrics as it pertains to football? We're getting more and more used to it being just part of the conversation in baseball, the advanced metrics, the saber metrics.
Yeah.
I still think the defensive saber metrics are garbage, but, help yourself.
Right.
But I'm curious how you feel about it when they talk about, pass block win rate at 92.4% versus NFL center average of 93.8%. And his run block win rate was 64.5% versus 72.8%, which is the league average. So he's below in both of those. Do you buy into those? Do you buy into those evaluations? Or do you think, well, the people that are evaluating don't really know whose responsibility was what, and guys can be made to look bad, like they got beat when it was actually this guy was supposed to do this, but he didn't.
Yeah, it's a good question. Because I think that, some of the people that put the work in, like, I haven't watched every single snap of Brandon Scherf, right? And so somebody's doing that. Now, their judgment level, or do they know, first of all, I'm like, you don't know the call, and you don't know what the rules are. And if you don't know that, because there's lots of times where, remember one time, this is probably 5 years ago, Bob, we were like looking at somebody had criticized a guy for not picking up, this crosser or whatever. And I'm like, he's in zone, man. You got to have the next guy pick him up. So I think I think a lot of people use it to make themselves sound really smart.
Yeah.
Like the person who texted in on Friday, that we were talking about Lenore.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it? Domador? Lenore?
Diamador.
Anyway,
he's a punk.
What they either did was copied and pasted like AI, or went to Pro Football Focus and said this and that, and then they're telling me, you need to look at more film. You're looking at film? No. You're copying and pasting something that somebody else said.
That guy came straight out of the film room and texted you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're like, you need to look at more film. I'm like, you're not looking at film, dude. You're looking at this stuff. But, like I said, it's a good question because I think, somebody is putting the time in, but I don't think by any means do the scouts or the pro personnel guys look at that stuff.
Yeah.
They look at the film and they, but if the fact that somebody's willing to look at it, I don't know, they could be insane. They could be a crazy man, but
the people that
yeah, I mean, I think but that's the thing that Chris Collinsworth said in the very beginning. Because I think he was a big part of that. And he was like, well, I mean, most people can look at film and tell, whose fault it is. And I'm like, really? I don't think that's much of a sales pitch there.
No, and that's not true either.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm kind of a little iffy on it. Like I said, I respect the people that put the time into looking at it, but I don't, and also it's just how he fits in. Has he run this offense before?
Yeah.
And does he work well with others? And, look at the guy, Connor Williams, that came in.
Yep.
I mean, the guy had his headphones on all the time, wouldn't talk to anybody.
All right, coming up, John Morosi did not mince words about the Mariners situation. We're going to react to some of what he had to say coming up next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
After a gutty series win.
Donovan Solano driving in the run.
And 3 straight extra innings games in Texas.
The Mariners have taken the lead in the 10th inning.
The Mariners are back home at T-Mobile with George Kirby on the mound to kick off the 7-game homestand.
A huge strikeout for Kirby.
Mariners Royals. First pitch tonight at 6:40. Wyman and Bob take you to pregame at 5:30 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports, and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, it's Bob Stelton here, and let me tell you about one of the best decisions I've made in my life. That's when I went to K2 Vision for RLE. That's refractive lens exchange. Now, if you're like me and you're somebody that struggled with your vision, mine was up close. I couldn't read menus. I couldn't read receipts in restaurants. Some people struggle with distance vision. K2 Vision RLE could be your perfect and permanent solution. And here's the cherry on top. You'll never develop a cataract. K2 Vision RLE is quick. It's painless. I am seeing great now without glasses or readers. I'm telling you, I had readers in every room of my house, in my car. If I forgot to bring them into a place with me, I was out of luck. So there are a lot of things I couldn't do if I didn't have readers with me. That is no longer an issue. They are all in a drawer right now. It is an absolute game changer, and I'm so excited to spend my good active years not needing reading glasses. K2 Vision RLE gave me great vision that's permanent. The doctors at K2 Vision RLE have performed over 150,000 lens procedures, so they know when RLE is right for you. Schedule your free Zoom consultation today. Just go to K2VisionRLE.com. That's K2VisionRLE.com. Completely free consultation. K2 Vision RLE. No readers, no glasses, contacts, or cataracts. Again, K2VisionRLE.com.
Rick Riz here for the Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington's Improve Your Play program. Many of our local youth sports teams need help with field enhancements, training, and equipment. Local Pella owners Keith Dashafy and Luke Wilson are stepping up to donate $5,000 to 2 deserving teams. We need your help finding them. Head to seattlesports.com/play to nominate a deserving team in need. Let's help our local youth improve their play this year with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Contest and rules at seattlesports.com/play.
Get 0% financing for 72 months on Cat compact construction equipment at NC Machinery. Built for performance, durability, and comfort. Buy now and take advantage of 0% financing for 72 months at NC Machinery.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low. It just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine and More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Evan Cohen here. According to a recent ZipRecruiter survey, 76% of employers plan to expand headcount for 2025. If you're one of these employers, add ZipRecruiter's latest feature, Zip Intro, to your hiring plan. It does most of the work for you, so you save time. Just pick a time, and Zip Intro finds and schedules qualified candidates for you. You can even meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/USL. That's ZipRecruiter.com/USL.
An Aussie trekker travels to America to hike an epic trail.
It was rocky, it was imposing.
But Eric Robinson never made it to the end. I'm Dave Cawley. Follow my podcast, Uinta Triangle, UINTA, on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen.
You know what's faster than your paycheck? Literally everything. It's time to get your pay up to speed. With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors available in select states. Expedited transfer is available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. John always listens to his truck. So when his brakes start talking, he goes to AutoZone, where a helpful AutoZoner gets him the right parts. If John has time to put them in, he borrows a kit with Loan-A-Tool. And if he doesn't, he gets a free shop referral. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool. Restrictions apply.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money, because you're in charge. Today, you're going to pay down your credit card bill. But you decide when you'll pay it. Before the due date, so those interest charges don't get you. But you decide if you pay it in full. But you definitely should, because again, interest charges. With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Text line is there for you at 866-979-3776. Get a chance to catch up with John Morosi as we do each and every week. He had some interesting thoughts on the Mariners and how they're handling their approach to the trade deadline, or how they should handle it. He talked about, they are what their record says they are. They're an average team that has a higher playoff probability than they deserve, according to him.
The Mariners are exactly what their record says they are. They are an average team right now that probably has a higher probability of making the playoffs than they deserve, if I could be that candid at the moment, just based on the way the American League looks, that most teams in the American League, if your name is not the Orioles, the White Sox, or perhaps the Athletics, you're basically in the hunt at the moment.
That's as close as he'll ever get to being critical, right there.
You think?
Yeah. He doesn't criticize. He's always, he'll find the positive spin on it, but he's right in that the AL doesn't have a dominant team. Right. And the AL West is not a great division. So the Mariners are, right as we sit, they're a playoff team. They have that third wild card spot. They're up 2 games in that spot. But he's right. You're hovering around 500. You're an average team right now. And if it were any other year where you had some dominant teams and teams around you were better, certainly you wouldn't be in this position. But they are. So, like all these other teams, you're in the mix.
Yeah. But, I mean, you look around the American League and, you look at, does anybody have something that's as special as the Mariners have in their starting rotation?
Not when they're all healthy and rolling, no.
Yeah. So, and I feel like that's where we're heading. We're heading towards that and not away from it, which we were there for a while. So, and as far as, I'm just looking at it from the standpoint of competition and, who you're going to trade with and who's going to be more in and who thinks they have something that's special. Because you're right. I mean, you look at the AL and, You got the Tigers that are, kind of running away with the Central, but, those middling teams are still about where the Mariners are.
Yeah, I mean, even the Yankees are being shut out a bunch recently. They've had their problems. You just don't have that team that just looks like they're head and shoulders beyond everybody else.
Right. Yeah, so, I mean, what does that mean at the deadline? And
everybody feels like they're in play.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm very curious to see where the Mariners, what their sense of urgency is, because, we've talked about just the starting rotation pitching wise, and, what's going to happen when everybody comes due and, you're paying big league salaries.
Yeah.
I don't know that they're going to want to spend that money.
I'm almost 100% certain they won't. So I feel like you're going to be saying goodbye to at least two of them.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. I'm hoping they can hang on to two.
But Brian Wu right now,
I think if it were up to me, it'd be Wu and Gilbert.
Yeah.
But, maybe they have a different feeling. Maybe for them it's Miller and Kirby. I don't know.
Right.
But the idea that they're keeping all four.
Yeah.
No, that's not going to happen. Morosi went on to talk about the Mariners lineup, how it can be improved upon. Then he talked about the gap between the Astros and the M's. It's a little wider than it should be.
A third of their lineup can credibly be improved upon, which, hey, gives you some good canvas to talk about, to potentially search for upgrades. We all of us that follow the Mariners would like to say, sure, we'd like to see the Julio of 2 or 3 years ago be the Julio of now, but that's just not the present reality. So I think that's one other issue the Mariners have to tackle, but there's not much they can do with that from a roster management standpoint. They need to probably make a move or two, but the gap between the Astros and the Mariners is wider than I ever thought it would be. Really, at any point in time this season, but certainly not this quickly the way the Astros have played over the last 6 weeks or so.
Do you think it's actually wider than it actually is? I mean, Jeremy Pena is ridiculous right now.
He's gone to the IL.
Yeah, but, I mean, you look at what he's done up to this point, and then Jose Altuve, and, they got Paredes.
But they've been doing it without Alvarez, and Bregman's gone, and Tucker's gone, and they've suffered losses in their rotation. I mean, the things that have impacted their depth, and maybe it'll impact them in the second half, but things that you look at and say, that bill's going to come due at some point, right? Because to this point, it hasn't affected them.
Right.
I mean, they got a 6.5 game lead. They've won 7 of 10.
So weird.
We're looking at the Mariners going, hey, successful road trip. You've taken 6 of 10. Well, they did you one better. Yeah. So you don't gain any ground on them. They've got a 6.5 game lead, and they've got their shortcomings. They've got their lack of depth. They've got their injury issues. We'll see, with Pena out, how much does that hurt them?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a breaking point for them, hopefully.
Hopefully. Yeah.
But moving on to Morosi talking about the M's have gotten close with their pitching, but too many times they've let that opportunity slide away.
They have gotten so close with this amazing pitching staff too many times to just kind of let this opportunity go. And I do think the front office, for a variety of reasons, seems to be a bit more aware of how the fan base feels. And the two of you are living it every day. You hear it every day. The fans are waiting for something to happen that tells them that their front office deeply, truly cares about investing in going for it, so to speak.
Yeah, I think they're very aware. How they respond is always the wild card. We have no idea how they're going to respond. What I know is you can't keep kicking the can down the road. You can't keep moving the goalpost. You can't, next year. Well, next year. No. That bill has come due to bring that back. It's due. And you've got that window with this rotation. We just talked about the idea of them signing all 4 of them is not reality. So at some point, you're going to be minus 2 of those guys, 3. I don't know. I don't know what their budget is.
Yeah.
But you're not going to have all 4. So you got that window right now with those guys. And I know Miller's hurt right now, but you've got that window with these guys at by baseball standards, remarkably cheap. You better take advantage of it, man.
And nobody knows that better than Cal.
Yeah.
And Cal's got the new contract now. I wonder if, because remember, he was talking last year.
Well, hopefully behind the scenes they gave some assurances like, hey, man,
we're gonna help you out.
Or we're gonna spend what we need to spend, hopefully.
Well, and hopefully that conversation is going on at the trade deadline, because Cal is like carrying this team right now. And, you take his numbers away, and
it's not a good thing.
It's not good.
Yeah, and then real quick, we asked, barring a face plant, the Mariners are still 6.5, 7.5 back of the Astros. They're, in front for that third wild card spot by a game. Are they buyers? Are they sellers? Here's John's response to that.
It's a team that's good enough to make some upgrades. So my long way of answering the question is, I really see no way that they're sellers. No way. Maybe if they dip below 500, maybe it's more of a tepid buy. Mm-hmm. But they should buy. This league is there for the taking. Okay, it is. And the Yankees, they don't have Garrett Cole. They don't have Juan Soto, guys that helped to make the World Series last year. This is the year that unless you're clearly not good enough, and I count 3 teams that are clearly not good enough, you should be buying at the deadline in the American League.
So there you go. No excuses. Buyers. Be buyers. All right, time to hear even more embarrassing stories from another teammate of Dave's.
What? Who wrote that?
I think Matt had his hand
Actually,
in this.
we weren't teammates. Numbnuts.
Wait, are you being for real?
Yeah. Yeah, that would make me like 45 years old or something like that. There's this thing. It's called a calendar. And then you can consult that by years, and
I guess I just kind of assumed.
Yeah.
Oh, he's another old Seahawk. He was a teammate of Dave's.
I'm only doing this to Matt because he gave me a hard time about clicking
a link,
which I was not familiar with.
All right. Well, he's not a teammate, but he might have embarrassing stories about Dave. We'll find out. Seahawks legend and top 50 all-time Robbie Tobeck is going to join us next. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
If you haven't subscribed to Seattle Sports on YouTube,
it's amazing. We just got to keep hammering it home.
You're missing part of the game.
The rest is history.
There's so much more than what happens on the field.
This is the place I love.
Subscribe now for in-depth inside information with Brock and Salk.
The Mariners' hit rate was way higher than that.
Bump and Stacy.
Cal's like a coach out there.
Wyman and Bob.
One day, breaking that record would be pretty cool.
Stream it live with the local sports leader on YouTube, Seattle Sports.
The Golfapalooza of the summer, the Butts Golf Sidewalk Sale. Titleist, FootJoy, TaylorMade, Callaway, the biggest names at 50 to 70% off. It's your time to save, and it all starts Thursday at Butts.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. John always listens to his truck. So when his brakes start talking, he goes to AutoZone, where a helpful AutoZoner gets him the right parts. If John has time to put them in, he borrows a kit with Loan-A-Tool. And if he doesn't, he gets a free shop referral. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool. Restrictions apply.
You gotta dip your chicken strips. Hey, this is Kiani.
And this is Tabitha.
And a little thing we love about Chick-fil-A chicken strips
is all the different sauces we can dip them in. I like to line up all my favorite sauces so that in every bite, I have a different flavor. Then with the tenderness of the chicken, the juiciness of it, it's all there.
And for me, I like to mix my sauces so I get a little tang and I get a little sweetness all in one bite.
That's what makes it for me. Like, that's what does it for me.
That's what I'm saying.
It's the summer of Chick-fil-A chicken strips and sauces. Order now on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So, I was taking my side hustle full-time.
Bold move, my friend.
And I needed to find everything in one stop.
Like finding Bigfoot riding a unicorn.
Yes, so I hit the Staples Easy button. Staples had everything for a new office and print services for signs and brochures. Plus, Cindy, the Staples associate, helped me find the best tech for me.
Wait, no drama?
No, Staples made it easy.
For the products, services, and experts your business needs. Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. More fiber?
What?
Down here, buddy. It's me, your spoon. Constipation with belly pain still coming back.
Yeah.
Talk to your doctor. It could be irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, but Linzess could help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Well, the Mariners return home after a 10-game road trip. They'll be home for 7 games beginning tonight. A 4-game series with the Royals begins. They send George Kirby to the Hill. He faces off against Michael Wacha. You can catch it all starting at 5:30 right here with the pregame show. 6:40 first pitch. Seattle Sports on 710. Meanwhile, in the world of the NFL, some trades happening. Jalen Ramsey, Jonnu Smith go from Miami to the Pittsburgh Steelers in exchange for Minkah Fitzpatrick. Now, in recent weeks, multiple teams have been discussing whether they can trade for Steelers standout pass rusher T.J. Watt, who skipped the team's most recent minicamp. This according to Adam Schefter. Steelers haven't shown any willingness to deal him so far, but he is unhappy with his contract, and they believe outside team interest will likely increase, giving Monday's trade that sent Ramsey and Smith to the Steelers in exchange for Fitzpatrick.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Well, the Seahawks unveiled their top 50 of all time a couple of months ago, and Dave and I have been talking to different players from that list, and it's a pleasure to bring this guy in. We used to see him around the building. He was part of a show here on the weekends, the Outdoor Line.
Yeah.
Be roaming the halls, and now he's elsewhere. But he's with us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. He is Robbie Tobeck. Robbie, how are you, man?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
We're doing
good.
We're doing great. You'll be happy to know that Dave Wyman had you pegged for being about a decade younger than you are. He just said, I thought that he looked so young, and he was having a debate with our producer Matt about the difference in age.
I called him numbnuts because I was like, how old do you think this guy is? But then I forgot, Robbie, that you played for all of those years in Atlanta. So
it's time flies. I wish I was a decade young. To be that young again and know what I know now, there's no telling what I could do.
Well, what I've noticed, Robbie, is that right now, so I'm over 60, and I'm like, man, I'd kill to be 50 again. When I'm 70. I'm going to be going, man, I'd kill to be 60 again.
I was in my prime at 60.
Yeah, you just got to appreciate it all.
Yeah, you're talking to this young whippersnapper, Robbie Tobeck now. Hey, Robbie, just first of all, what's that like for you to be named one of the 50 greatest to ever put on a Seahawks uniform? What is that? When you heard that news, what was your reaction?
Well, I mean, it's such an honor to be voted by the fans, and then also to have local media guys and some, personnel guys and, whoever it was that made that decision to be thought of in that vein. It's just quite an honor. Chuck Arnold gave me a call. I was actually out of town on vacation, and then I get a call from the Seahawks. I'm like, what the heck's going on here? And, it's Chuck Arnold. And I just got cold chills, got excited. It was really quite an honor and very humbling to be considered to have been of that caliber.
Well, and Robbie, we talked to Lofa, and he couldn't say better things about you, by the way. But also, he was a little bummed that Locklear didn't make it because you guys did, and you guys had just an amazing offensive line and connection. As far as you at center, you got Hutch and Chris Gray at guard. You got Walt and Locklear on the other side. Did you guys realize how good you were, or what was the feeling? You had to have felt pretty dominant at that point.
Well, you know how it is, Dave. You get into a season and you start putting wins together, and you play together for a number of years, and you just don't think of it like, I was always like, next game, here's what I got to do next, all those types of things. You don't have time to really sit back and consider like, hey, we're pretty darn good. You just kind of move on and move to the next thing, because if you sit back and you rest on your laurels, you get your tail kicked. Yeah. And we never did that. We just always kind of kept, okay, that was a great game, but we got the Niners this week, and we got to get ready for, Bryant Young, and it's all those types of things, and you just don't have time to sit back and think of yourself when you're going through it. You're going through it. You're trying to earn that respect, and I think that's one of the things that was great about us, is that we got to play together for a number of years. Locklear was kind of at the end there. For some of us, the year when we went to the Super Bowl, he stepped in and did a great job, but four of the five of us, we played together 4 or 5 years, and we saw a lot, and we did a lot together.
How big is that, to have that continuity, to have that? I always heard that for years, and anybody I talked to that played in the league, that played O-line, they're like, man, you work in concert together, and you just know what that guy to your left or your right is going to do, and you don't even have to verbalize it. And it feels like today, and maybe it's just out of necessity, but there's a lot more turnover. There's a lot, whether a guy's coming in, this guy's in for a series, this guy's in for a series. The idea of having those 5 guys, or even 4 of the 5 together year after year, almost seems antiquated. And again, maybe it's just a lack of talent, or it's the way the game's played. But how big is that, in your opinion?
Oh, I think it's huge, because by the end of it all, Dave will tell you that, defensive guys, not as smart as us offensive guys. But,
you think I'll tell them that?
They're still smart enough to pick up on our calls and all those different types of things. And we had progressed to the point where, as a center, I'm responsible to make the call, but I would just call a number. And so you had no idea, based on a D lineman would have no idea based on our call, if it's a run or a pass or anything like that. And which way the center's going a lot of times, guys will base stuff they do off of that and things. And, it's easy. If I say Louis, or if I say Roger, he's going left, he's going right. But if I just say number 50, you don't know what I'm doing. And so we were to that point where we gave nothing away. We didn't give up anything cheap, and I think that really helped us. Talking to guys from other teams in later years, and they're like, "Man, we just never could get a beat on you guys," and that's a direct result of us playing together so long and being in that same meeting room, on the field, practicing, all those reps we did together. That's a benefit of that right there.
Yeah, Robbie, I was always envious of the offensive linemen because they were always just the tightest group, it seemed like. You guys still keep in touch? You still keep in touch with all those guys?
Yeah, we do. Talked to Hutch a couple weeks ago, texted with Walt last week. I'm a little salty with Walt right now because he made a quick trip into Tampa and didn't hit me up, but I know he had a full schedule. But I'm gonna let him off the hook. But yeah, we still do. We still get together. We still talk to Chris Gray. You guys, if you guys get a chance to talk to Chris Gray, he said he got a call from the Seahawks. He told me the other day, and he thought that it was Hutch and I playing a joke on him. I said, Chris, man, I love you too much for that. I like to joke around, but I wouldn't do something like that. But anyway, yeah. So the point is, answer your question. Yeah, we still stay in touch, and I love those guys. And we get together, we just fall right back into the same everything, the same jokes, the same stories. We never get tired of telling them, and we just have lots of fun together.
Hey, as far as O-line these days, is there a dramatic difference in what they're asking O-linemen to do? It just feels like the idea of a constant 5 or 4, it just isn't reality for most teams. And I'm wondering if their guys are too specialized, or now we're caught up in the idea of, well, this guy can play a guard and he can play tackle and he can play center, he can play everywhere. So you've got all these guys who are, they're multiple. They can do that. Has it changed from when you were playing to the way they use O-linemen now?
Well, I think when I played, everyone, the coach, they are always looking for a guy. You had to play at least 2 positions. If you were a guard, usually if you weren't the starter, you were a backup. You had to be able to play guard and tackle or guard and center. And if you were a backup tackle, you had to be able to play a little guard. So you always had to kind of do that just based on numbers. But I think free agency and coaching turnover, all those types of things, I think that a lot of that leads to having guys in and out. I was thinking about the Seahawks earlier today, and we got a pretty good foundation of young guys with the 2 young tackles. I think we drafted a couple guys. I think they're going to be pretty good. Man, if you could get these guys together and keep them together, they're fairly young. Keep them together, keep them healthy. Those types of things. They got a really good shot at being good. But yeah, it's a little different. You look at Philadelphia; they kept a group together for a number of years with the guys they had, Lane Johnson, and those guys, and they're really, really good. And I think if I'm a personnel guy, or running a team, I want to keep my offensive line. I think you got to have a quarterback, and then I think you got to win at the line of scrimmage. And I feel like I can find guys that can run fast and do some things, but you can't find enough guys that can play left tackle in the league. It's just like quarterback. You can't find enough guys that are good enough to play to be starting quarterbacks. So it's a specialized position. It's not one that anybody grows up wanting to. Nobody wants to go play O-line when they start playing football. But it is a highly skilled position, and I just think with practice nowadays too, I think that hurts these guys a little bit. Yeah. They don't bang as much as we did. As much as I hated banging all the time in practice and training camp, stuff like that, reps are important, and I think they need a little bit more of that. Maybe not too much, but a little bit more of that in training camp.
Yeah, I think it sounds like McDonald is going to kind of push the edge on that, because he says a number of times, like, we can't tell. He kind of sounds old school, He's like, we can't tell until we start hitting. But, hey, I wanted to ask you, Robbie, we just had a story that we went through about Brandon Scherf from the Seahawks possibly signing him. But, there was this whole Pro Football Focus, like, rating. And, and Bob asked me, like, what do I think about it? And I'm like, it's a good question, just because, like, somebody is willing to sit there and look at the right guard for the Jacksonville Jaguars, in all 16 games, and they're giving now I don't know, what their experience is, and like I said, I feel like if I don't know the rules and of the the blocking scheme or whatever, based on where a guy's lines up, I don't really know how to rate a guy like that. How do you look at the Pro Football Focus stuff with particularly offensive line, which I think is the biggest question marks, number one, and then the one position group that the least number of people know about?
Yeah, I think you nailed it. It's the rules. You don't know what you might know, hey, this protection, they're sliding to the left, but you don't know the details of how that's being coached. Yeah. Did the left guard abandon too soon and go to nobody and left the center out? And you say, well, the center got beat on that. Well, no, he was expecting the left guard to leave a hand or be there a little bit, so you don't know the rules. You don't know exactly how that's coached, and it's tough. And I think you're right. There's not enough guys. And, even head coaches and offensive coordinators and stuff, like a lot of times they don't even know what's going on with the offensive line because they don't care. They just want to throw the ball around the field. They want to call their plays. They want to do all that stuff, and they just want you just to get it done as an offensive line and stuff. So I think it is tough. I think particularly with offensive line, I think you nailed it. You're 1,000%. You got to know the rules and what they're trying to do before you can really judge on, were they successful or not? Were they good on that play?
Right.
What about the kids coming out of college these days? Because we had, when Tom Cable was here, he would make statements about, look, I can take a D lineman and turn him into an O lineman just as well as I can take an O lineman because they don't teach him at that level. He made it sound like the starting point is the same whether you play defensive line or offensive line, which I had a hard time agreeing with. But I'm curious what you think of the talent that comes out of the college level. Do you think they are doing them a disservice that they're not teaching them the right way, and it is almost like starting over at the NFL level, or is that a bit of an overstatement?
Yeah, I think that I agree with you that is an overstatement to say something like that. But I do think, the college game is such now that, they got away from huddling. Nobody, you look at teams and nobody puts their hand in the ground anymore and comes off the football and stuff like that. So in the NFL, you got to be able to do it. The NFL still likes to run the football. It was great football last year watching the NFL season, all these coaches and teams getting back to running the football and stuff. So that's what I think the NFL game's about. That's what I love to watch. I mean, it's fun to watch them throw the ball around, but in college now, everyone's in a 2-point stance. Everyone's looking to the sideline. The centers aren't snapping the ball to the quarterbacks anymore. It's all shotgun stuff. So it is different, and there is a big learning curve when you get to the league. I mean, your head's swimming. It's bad enough you've jumped to this talent level, and you're trying to learn that. You're trying to learn the plays, and then by the way, they're asking me to do something that I've never done before. And it adds a level of difficulty, and some guys can't adapt, can't adjust. And I think, I think it would be, great if for the NFL linemen, if colleges started running the football a little bit more and doing some stuff like that. But I don't know if it's going to change anytime soon.
Yeah. It seems like there's not a lot of quarterback under center and, like you said, huddling. And hey, tell us about. I think the center position is really important, and obviously because you touch the ball, but as far as for the Seahawks, I mean, it was Blair Bush. There were some good players, between you and them, but then you came along, and then we had a couple
Unger,
of Max Unger, and then
Justin
Britt. But I mean, it's been a while since they've really had a good, solid center. How important is that?
I think it's very important. I think it's one of those positions that gets overlooked. I think as a center, you have to have some leadership ability. You're the guy that's making the calls. You're the guy that the other guys are going to look to. I mean, I remember it like yesterday. Looking down the line and seeing Walt staring at me like, okay, what are you going to call? What are we doing on this play? And because they can't do their job until you've done your job by letting them know on a lot of plays and stuff. So it's important that way. You got to be quick. You got to be in tune with your quarterback. Matt, when I was playing, Matt had to know that I was seeing this guy coming off the corner just like he was, and he had to have the faith that I was going to either get there myself or get one of the guys there and stuff. So there's a lot of communication that takes place, and I think you have to have a high standard. I've talked to a few centers over the years, and I had one guy, Dave, you'll appreciate this. He said to me, coach is being tough on me. I don't make more than 1 or 2 mental errors a game. And I told him that, I would be suicidal if I made 1 or 2 mental errors a game, I mean, it's like, what are you talking about, man? It's like, you got to raise your standard a little bit. So I worry sometimes that, the fact is, I think we're not, maybe, we're talking about college earlier. I think we're not coached as hard as we used to be. You look at some of the college guys coming out, there's a little more coddling than there used to be. And some of that's good and some of it's hurts a guy. But I think, that standard with a lot of these college guys coming out and has to be raised. And certainly as a center, you've got to be accountable to those other guys, and I think it takes a certain guy to be able to handle that role.
You know what, Robbie? I think you'd like John Benton. They call him JB here. I don't know if you've ever crossed paths with him, but when I was out at OTAs, I heard a lot of, "That's not even close." No, wrong. He was coaching him up, and he was a little old school there. So I think you'd fit right in.
Yeah, a little Tom Lavatt in him, it sounds like, and stuff. So, but no, and it's great. I never minded being coached hard as long as I was coached fair. Yeah. I thought that's one of the things I liked about Coach Holmgren was, I always thought he was fair as a head coach. But if you're an offensive line coach and you're grinding on me, that's fine, because I know your intention is to help me get better. Right. But just be fair. And as long as he's being fair, I think guys will respond to him and guys will play hard for him.
Hey, real quick before we let you go, Robbie, I'm just curious to get your take on Olu Oluwatimi, a guy that they picked up in the 5th round. He won all the awards at the college level, playing for a big-time program like Michigan. He wins the Remington and the Outland Trophy. So he was well regarded as a college player, but then he comes here and there's questions, can he do it at this level? He's not good at pass block. We were talking about some of the metrics associated with his pass blocking and his run blocking. What do you see? Is he a guy that you think he could be the future, or no, he's too small, he's not the right fit? What's your take on him? If memory serves, he's been banged around a little bit and had a couple injury deals that he's had to deal with. I look at him and I watch him play, and I think he's got ability, and he's got the ability to get it done and be a player. I say if I'm coaching him, I'm wanting him to move his body weight around a little bit. I thought he was a little too big. I think he could play probably a little thinner, if that makes sense. If he's going to play the center position, you don't have to be 315, 320, whatever that is, to play that position. I just thought he looked a little big, last couple games I've seen him play. But he's got some ability. I mean, he's a strong kid. He can move some people around. I just sometimes it takes time, and you got to get in the right system. You got to get with the right coach. You got to figure it out a little bit, and hopefully this year's the year where he can figure some things out and be a great player for us. Robbie, it's great to talk to you, man. Congratulations on being named one of the 50 greatest to ever put on a Seahawks uniform. That's a huge honor, and it's well deserved. So congrats on that, and thanks so much for taking time with us, man.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on, and thank you very much, and go Hawks.
You're the best, Robbie. Thanks, man.
Thank you. Thanks, brother.
There you go. There's Robbie Tobeck, everybody. If you guys didn't catch all of that, you'll be able to find that conversation on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Coming up, how worried should we be about a handful of players in this Mariners offense that we looked at some of the numbers, a little concerning. We'll see what your level of concern is. We'll talk about that coming up next. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
ESPN senior baseball insider Buster Olney on Brock and Saul.
What do you make of this Mariners team in general?
There are just so many teams in the middle, and they're almost to the point it makes it hard to define them all. I think the Mariners actually have one of the better chances to break out of that pack because of their potential ceiling for their pitching. Once they get that in order, their centerpiece star is having the greatest season that we've ever seen from a catcher in the history of baseball.
Hear the full interview on the Seattle Sports app and the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit DanielNelsonMD.com. That's DanielNelsonMD.com.
Get ready to rock with Bret Michaels at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center, Thursday night, July 10th. Rock and roll rebel Bret Michaels. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Bret Michaels rocks your world, July 10th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help, call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine and More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Evan Cohen here. According to a recent ZipRecruiter survey, 76% of employers plan to expand headcount for 2025. If you're one of these employers, add ZipRecruiter's latest feature, Zip Intro, to your hiring plan. It does most of the work for you, so you save time. Just pick a time, and Zip Intro finds and schedules qualified candidates for you. You can even meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/USL. That's ZipRecruiter.com/USL.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hoped it'd go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
John always listens to his truck. So when his brakes start talking, he goes to AutoZone, where a helpful AutoZoner gets him the right parts. If John has time to put them in, he borrows a kit with Loan-A-Tool. And if he doesn't, he gets a free shop referral. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool. Restrictions apply.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, everybody, it's Bob Stelton here. Let me tell you about one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. I went to K2 Vision for refractive lens exchange. Now, I'm somebody who struggled with up-close vision. I couldn't read restaurant menus. I couldn't read receipts. I couldn't read the text on my phone. I had this crazy large font on there. I put the readers away. I went to K2 Vision, and I'm actually reading some of what I'm saying to you right now. I couldn't do that before. It's amazing. So if you're like me, you struggle with distance vision, or you always need a pair of glasses, K2 Vision RLE is quick. It's absolutely painless. wellness, and I am seeing great without glasses or readers. RLE is a game changer. I'm excited to spend my good active years not needing reading glasses. K2 Vision RLE gave me great vision that, more importantly, is permanent. The doctors at K2 Vision have performed over 150,000 lens procedures, so they know when RLE is right for you. Schedule your free Zoom consultation today at K2VisionRLE.com. K2 Vision RLE. No readers, glasses, contacts, or cataracts. That's K2VisionRLE.com.
Do you have a car you'd like to sell but don't want to go through all the hassle? With all the scams and security risks out there, more and more people are uncomfortable selling their own car. So how do you get the most money for your used car without selling it yourself? Stacy here with the answer. Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Not only will they purchase your car and pay you right up front for it, but it gets way better. Once they resell your old car, they share half the profit with you. The question I get most from my friends and colleagues is, what's the catch and how can they offer this? It's super simple. All the money they save by not traveling to buy cars at auctions, like purchase fees, shipping, and travel expenses, is what allows them to offer this. They'd rather share that money they save with you than outside vendors. They encourage you to shop around, but if Wayscar Ford can pay you the same or more as their competitors and then share half their profit with you once they resell your car, why would you sell your car anywhere else? They've already shared over $800,000 with customers, and it's only at Wayscar Ford. That's wayscarford.com, Wayscar Ford in Auburn.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Our thanks to Robbie Tobeck, who joined us in the previous segment, in case you guys are just tuning in. Former Seahawks center and one of the 50 greatest to ever wear a Seahawks uniform, as determined by you, the fans out there. So good to catch up with him. We've been doing a number of those conversations, catching up with those guys, thanks to Dave's relationships, even though you didn't play with him. And Matt tried to make you younger than you are. You thought he was a former teammate.
Our careers did overlap. I'd forgotten about that part.
You thought he was 10 years younger.
I did.
Than he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, he does a great job. That one thing that he said about, the being, suicidal if I had
one or two mental lapses.
Yeah. That's pretty high standard, but like he said, it needs to be there.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Good stuff from him, though. Definitely recommend checking out that conversation. If you guys didn't catch it, it'll be on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Meanwhile, I was taking a look at some numbers from a couple of different guys on the Mariners roster, Dave, and it gave me pause. It gave me pause, some more than other. I brought this up earlier. Your guy Dylan Moore is in one of the all-time worst slumps.
Yeah.
He had 6 home runs in the month of April. He's hit 2 since, both of them in May. He has 1 hit in the month of June. He's 1 for 30. Two walks.
What's that translate to? What's his
33.
number? Oh, my goodness.
033. He's got a 094 on base. So he's 1 for 30. 2 walks, 18 strikeouts, no runs driven in. That's his month of June. April, he was on fire. He had 280, his slash line, 286, 343, 587, 930. Tremendous April. May, 237, 292, 390, 682. All right. June, 033, 094, 033, 127. I mean...
Well, when you look at this, though, do you go, okay, these first few numbers are more he's about than the June numbers, right?
I would say the May number is more what he's about. April was an outlier. He was on fire.
Yeah, that was a little bit much for him.
Yeah, he's just been a guy who's he's got some pop. He can come up with a big home run here and there. He can play multiple positions defensively, although I'd say his defense has struggled this year too. So there's that.
Yeah.
We'll see how much he gets in the lineup. I don't know how much trust Dan. That's always an interesting thing. Like, this is a guy he's the longest tenured Mariner on this team right now, Dylan Moore.
Wow. Yeah.
So how much faith do you have in him that, all right, he's going to work his way out and we're going to sacrifice some ABs and get him right again? Or because this offense isn't really good enough to allow it. So I'm just curious how willing Dan will be to insert him in the lineup, even though he's about as icy cold as you could get. He's got frostbite.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting that, we thought that about Donovan Solano. Now, it wasn't as extreme as this number.
Yeah, he was over 100.
Yeah. When you had that number in there, I was like, wait, what? Yeah, you just don't see that. But I don't know. I mean, I think Dan has a good, like we talk about, we're not out at practice for the Seahawks. We're not in the, watching the batting cage. And, maybe Dan sees something that, hey, he's really close to breaking out and being, the Dylan Moore that he is. And that's kind of what you went through with Donnie Barrels, right? I mean, he saw something there. I'm not saying that Dan is the, whisperer or anything like that, but, certainly if you look at Dylan Moore's numbers, and there has to be a repair, not because he's due, just because he's too good of a ball player to have these numbers in June. It's a pretty long time, and typically we look at this and
it's June 30th.
Yeah, I mean, typically it's like 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah,
this is the entire month, man.
The entire month, he's got one base hit.
Yeah.
Jorge Polanco was a great story in April. In April, he had 8 home runs. He had 1 in March, so he had 9. By the end of April, he had 9 home runs. He hit 379. His slash line in April: 379, 422, 862, 1284. I mean, off the charts, ridiculous. He's hit 2 home runs since April. 1 in May, 1 in June. His May numbers were just not as bad as Dylan Moore, but almost. His slash line: 139, 205, 208, 413. Dreadful. He's repaired a bit. June numbers: 222, 286 on base, 296 slug, 582 OPS. Not good. He's basically had April, and since then he's not been good.
You know what I think his problem is? He needs to be in more like high leverage situations.
With runners in scoring position.
Oh, my God. Yeah, and I don't know. This was a week ago, but it was brought to my attention that he leads the league in 2 outs, runners in scoring position. But if you look at his clutch numbers, I mean, it looks like that's kind of what he needs, because 2 outs, runners in scoring position. He's had 31 plate appearances, and he's got a double, 12 hits, 14 RBIs, and his average is his slash line: 429, 484, 571, 1055.
Yeah,
so I mean, it's amazing, and that's the best in Major League Baseball. So I don't know. He needs to figure out how to hit when there's not, these clutch situations, obviously. But yeah, I mean,
in both of those cases, though,
the problem is
2 guys that helped this offense as a whole get off to this crazy start we were looking at.
Right.
And they both, since April, have not been good. And some worse than others. And then you go to J.P. Crawford, just looking at this 10-game road trip. He went 9 for 47. That's 191. Now, what he'd been doing really well is walking, getting on base.
Yeah.
He didn't have a single walk in those 10 games. He had 9 strikeouts and 1 RBI.
Yeah.
So he just seems like...
Maybe he's the opposite of Mitch Garver there, because we were talking to Ryan Roland-Smith, and he said, he was letting too many go by, So maybe he needs to be...
Yeah, he was on fire. I mean, he was on base all the time, whether it was a hit or a walk. He was just making that pitcher work, and he was driving up the pitch count and working walks. He was, amongst the league leaders in walks, and for him to go 10 games and not one single walk, and he hit under 200, 9 strike. He's hit a bit of a valley here, and hopefully he's going to pop out of it. But I don't know, when you look at those numbers, is there anything that you're concerned about? Do you go? I mean, JP, I'm looking at going, okay, he'll find his way out of it.
Yeah.
Dylan Moore, I don't know, man. He's a utility. I think he's showing why he's not an everyday guy. He's just, if he's out there too much, he gets exposed, and it just, I would never have anticipated 1 for 30, 1 for the month of June, but hopefully that turns around, because the numbers are so bad it's almost comical. Polanco, you knew he wasn't going to be those April numbers. You're like, this is awesome, this is huge, it's keeping the team afloat, but he's not going to be this guy all year. But then he went he was hitting 200 points less, over 200 points less in May. His average dropped. So it was just, and now he's kind of settled somewhere in between, but more towards the low end.
Yeah.
And it's not great.
Well, I mean, look, if you really want the Mariners they need to be prodded to get active at the trade deadline. These would be the numbers that would have to continue, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to be too worried about JP just because it seems like he always finds a way out of it. But the other two are, yeah. I mean, and you go back to like April, end of April. If you'd have thought we were going to have this at the beginning of July, this conversation about Polanco, you'd say you're crazy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. So, yeah, I don't know, man. It's I hope whatever happens, because what I'm afraid is going to happen is that these guys are going to repair, and then we get to the trade deadline and they're going to go, yeah, these guys. I mean, look what Polanco's doing.
We don't need any help.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't need to go and be aggressive at the deadline. That's what I'm afraid is going to happen.
I'm just going to tell
like
you
it
right
should
now,
go one way or the other.
They better not, Dave.
Yeah.
They better not come out of to the trade deadline feeling like we're good. We don't need help.
Mm-hmm.
we got all of our answers right here.
Yeah,
we're fine.
That's known to happen.
That's going to be poorly received.
Yes,
I'll just say that right now. All right, coming up, a player announcing his own trade. Jerry Jones talking about Jerry Jones, and a moon mammoth. That can only mean it's time for one thing, and that's sweeping the dial. That's coming your way next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
After a gutty series win
Donovan Solano driving in the run,
and 3 straight extra innings games in Texas,
the Mariners have taken the lead in the 10th inning.
The Mariners are back home at T-Mobile with George Kirby on the mound to kick off the 7-game homestand.
A huge strikeout for Kirby.
Mariners Royals. First pitch tonight at 6:40. Wyman and Bob take you to pregame at 5:30 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports, and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here from my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors. They're a local company serving all of Western Washington for the past 23 years. And when you hear Harley Exteriors, I want you to think windows, manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. And Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors. And this is the window you want. It looks absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window. And these windows last up to 60 years. And they're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort. And they come with a double lifetime, fully transferable warranty. And that means not only are you covered for glass breaking or damaged seals, it's going to help you resale with your resale and the value of your home. Very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And this June, you better hurry up, 1 day left. You can buy 3 windows and get 1 free, plus an additional $200 off your entire project. So think Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more right here in the Puget Sound. Call 833-HARLEY. That's 833-HARLEY. Or just go to harleyexteriors.com.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So, I was taking my side hustle full-time.
Bold move, my friend.
And I needed to find everything in one stop.
Like finding Bigfoot riding a unicorn.
Yes, so I hit the Staples Easy button. Staples had everything for a new office and print services for signs and brochures. Plus, Cindy, the Staples associate, helped me find the best tech for me.
Wait, no drama?
No, Staples made it easy.
For the products, services, and experts your business needs. Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app.
Give me those sauces, grab the chicken strips, let's dunk them in there. There's nothing like it.
Hey, I'm Joey. And I'm Josh. And we're team members at our local Chick-fil-A. And a little thing you'll love about the Chick-fil-A chicken strips is dipping them in our sauces. My sauce is the barbecue sauce. If you wanted to add sweet, tangy flavors, there's nothing like it. I love the garden herb ranch sauce, but if you want a little bit more kick in the spicy side, you can mix it with buffalo sauce. Dipping them in our sauces, it is perfection.
It's the summer of Chick-fil-A chicken strips and sauces. Order now on the Chick-fil-A app. Team members paid for their testimonials.
Hold up a sec. If I work today, why should I have to wait 2 weeks to get my money? With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors available in select states. Expedited transfers available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. Not a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Ewart here for my friends over at Xfinity. You know, change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, we know that change is all around us. Songs are rewritten and remade. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists, well, they come and go. Even our taste in music, as we get older, can change a bit. But no matter how things change in 5 years, there's one thing that will stay the same. And that is the price of your internet. That's right. Xfinity is introducing a 5-year price guarantee. It means you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with their best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Are you surprised? Well, life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Now, restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August of 2024. Go check it all out right online at Xfinity.com/deals.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month, but what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Pure Talk. A wireless company that actually stands for something.
Scanning the airwaves for the most interesting and entertaining stories of the day. Sweeping the dial. Every afternoon at 4:45 with Wyman and Bob.
Presented by Silver Reef Casino Resort.
Jalen Ramsey announced his own trade to the Steelers, tweeting out this video earlier today.
In Pittsburgh, toughness isn't a trait, it's a tradition. And this city's always had a thing for defense with an edge. Now there's a new name stepping into the black and gold. Shutdown corner, relentless competitor. A walking chip on his shoulder with 4 wheels and no brakes. He talks loud. He hits harder. He didn't come to change what Pittsburgh stands for. He came to show he belongs in it. Steel sharpens steel. And the Steelers just got sharper.
That's Jalen Ramsey. That's how he broke the news.
That's pretty cool. Do you like is that what's the guy's name, the voice?
The voice of God.
Remember?
Yeah, somebody, it's on the tip of my tongue. Somebody will text it in.
Yeah.
But yeah. Maybe it's an AI version. I don't know.
Yeah, could be. Anyway, yeah, I heard about the trade, but then Minkah Fitzpatrick, he's one of those guys I remember we talked about him and, comparing him to Jamal Adams. And Minkah Fitzpatrick has just a ton of interceptions. And, that wasn't Jamal's area, right? He was very much, he had 9.5 sacks, which was, I think, a record for defensive backs. But, yeah, it's kind of interesting the way that he did that. I've heard really good things about Jalen Ramsey, okay? I know a lot of people think that, remember when he was on Hard Knocks with the Rams, he was, seen as kind of a head case a little bit. But I don't know. One of the things that happened was that, he didn't want to be asked about his contract, and he told the reporters, and then they asked him. And so he got up and left. So, but I hear, like, he's a really good dude, but big trade.
Yeah. 10th year in the league. He's going to be 31. Is he still that guy?
Yeah, I don't know.
Would you have made this deal?
I don't know. I mean, I'd have to look at him and see him, look at year 1, year 2, and, at that point, Fitzpatrick's getting up there too, right?
He's 28. He'll be 29 in November.
Yeah.
Sweeping the dial.
Netflix just released a trailer for America's Team, The Gambler and His Cowboys, an 8-part docuseries about Jerry Jones' history with the team.
The road to a championship is never paved smoothly. It's always paved with peaks and valleys.
This is a soap opera 365 days a year. When I bought the team, I was Darth Vader.
Dallas fans aren't happy.
Last year, they were 1-15.
I said, Dad, I don't know anything about running a football team. And he looked me in the eye and he said, neither do I.
We were gambling my family's whole fortune, so I had to take risks.
I think, it should be very interesting, but that whole cowboy, some of the over-the-top fandom is kind of annoying to some fan bases.
Well, yeah, because they haven't achieved much.
Well, that too.
In the past few decades.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's always hype, America's Team, and they get all the attention, all of the notoriety and the headlines, and they don't back it up with wins in the postseason, much less Super Bowls. So, yeah, it's been a bit of a drought for the Cowboys.
What do they say in Texas? Big hat, no cattle? Is that what's going on with Jerry Jones?
I guess I haven't heard that before.
But, yeah, I mean, I think it's always good drama. They have actually a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader documentary that has gone on. That was supposed to be like
that's worthy of being chronicled, so I'm just fine with that.
But recently,
didn't he fire Tom Landry right out of the gate? Was that one of the points of controversy? I don't know. I'll have to watch this thing. I thought that was like one of his first big moves when he bought the team was to fire Landry.
All right.
And that, I think, was poorly received.
Yes.
Sweeping the dial.
In May, John Oliver's Last Week Tonight offered to rebrand a minor league baseball team. 46 teams applied, and last night he announced that the Erie Seawolves will now officially be called the Erie Moon Mammoths. Here's the Bob Costas voice announcement.
Over 3 decades ago, it emerged.
The Moon Mammoth.
The Moon Mammoth.
The Moon Mammoth.
And except for one glorious day, it hasn't been seen since. Until now. Everyone had written him off. Said he was too old, too dead, too brittle to even look at. But they were wrong. Because as it turns out, you can't keep a good mammoth down. Erie, are you ready? Because this ancient purple beast is all about 2 things. Eating whatever it is mammoths ate and playing baseball. And he's all out of whatever it is mammoths ate. It's time to see what all the fuzz is about. Let's play ball.
That's pretty funny. I'm going to be very interested to see what kind of sales they do on their new merchandise, because they've got a whole new line of merchandise in honor of this. And for those who watch John Oliver, he did an episode in May where he was soliciting minor league teams, like, you let us come up with the new mascot, and because every minor league team's looking for a way to make money and get eyes on the product, so to speak. And they were all competing. 46 different teams applied to say, no, you need to rebrand our team. And you were going to, the rules were they'd have no say in it. Team would have no say in it.
Okay.
You left it totally up to John Oliver and Last Week Tonight crew, and they weren't going to do anything, off color, if you will, or anything like that. So this is the team that won, and they rebranded. It's in honor of George Moon, a scuba diver who found a mammoth bone in Erie County's Lake Pleasant. So
that's very bizarre.
So now they're the Moon Mammoths.
Moon Mammoths.
They've got all this new gear, and yeah, I bet you it's going to sell well.
I think so too, and I think it's very clever that they've kind of gone that way, like the Jacksonville jumbo shrimp. You know, some of the Albuquerque isotopes.
Yeah,
that one was pretty funny. But yeah, they're all kind of competing for, you know, to get people to buy merchandise. I mean,
you show up to the games, and yeah,
who doesn't want a Rocket City Trash Pandas hat? I like the Hartford Yard Goats.
Yeah,
it's another good one.
That's the whole.
We have one in ours is the wacky one is Modesto Nuts.
The Nuts, yeah.
In the Mariner system. But yeah, I mean, there's lots of good marketing opportunities, I think, and you know, for people that are looking for hats, that wear hats, you're a hat guy.
Yeah, I bought some minor league hats, bought some Aqua Sox hats when I was out there, like that. So yeah, it'll be. I want to hear how the sales are going. You know, a month into this, like are they going things flying off the shelves? This is more pub than that team's ever had in their existence.
Right.
So they're getting an incredibly popular show that overtook it and renamed their team. So good for them. I think that's a cool thing. All right, coming up, Cal was on the Pat McAfee show today, and shockingly, he was able to talk for a few minutes in between the 10 hosts. You're going to hear some of it coming your way next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
After a gutty series win,
Donovan Solano driving in the run,
and 3 straight extra innings games in Texas,
the Mariners have taken the lead in the 10th inning.
The Mariners are back home at T-Mobile with George Kirby on the mound to kick off the 7-game homestand.
A huge strikeout for Kirby.
Mariners Royals. First pitch tonight at 6:40. Wyman and Bob take you to pregame at 5:30 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports, and the Seattle Sports app.
Need a new roof but not in the budget? A new roof doesn't have to break the bank. Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Right now, State Roofing and Exteriors is offering 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's 2 years with no payments while getting the protection your home deserves. But this offer won't last forever. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to get on our summer schedule now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
I was drafted in 1999 by the Philadelphia 76ers, and that was just absolutely a dream come true.
Todd's playing in the NBA is unique. His battle with neuropathy is not.
I first started noticing problems a couple years into my NBA career, and I felt like my sock was just balled up right in the arch of my foot, and there'd be areas of burning and tingling, and then there'd be other areas of deadness where there would be no response to touch. We tried everything possible, from surgery to different drugs, to try and take care of some of the symptoms.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, non-drug, pain-free procedures that have helped thousands of neuropathy sufferers find relief.
Now I'm able to spend more time doing the things that I enjoy, being on my feet.
If you experience numbness, shooting, or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
You gotta dip your chicken strips. Hey, this is Kiani.
And this is Tabitha.
And a little thing we love about Chick-fil-A chicken strips
is all the different sauces we can dip them in. I like to line up all my favorite sauces so that in every bite, I have a different flavor. Then with the tenderness of the chicken, the juiciness of it, it's all there.
And for me, I like to mix my sauces so I get a little tang and I get a little sweetness all in one bite.
That's what makes it for me. Like, that's what does it for me.
That's what I'm saying.
It's the summer of Chick-fil-A chicken strips and sauces. Order now on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So, I was taking my side hustle full-time.
Bold move, my friend.
And I needed to find everything in one stop.
Like finding Bigfoot riding a unicorn.
Yes, so I hit the Staples Easy button. Staples had everything for a new office and print services for signs and brochures. Plus, Cindy, the Staples associate, helped me find the best tech for me.
Wait, no drama?
No, Staples made it easy.
For the products, services, and experts your business needs. Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
You gotta dip your chicken strips. Hey, this is Kiani.
And this is Tabitha.
And a little thing we love about Chick-fil-A chicken strips
is all the different sauces we can dip them in. I like to line up all my favorite sauces so that in every bite, I have a different flavor. Then with the tenderness of the chicken, the juiciness of it, it's all there.
And for me, I like to mix my sauces so I get a little tang and I get a little sweetness all in one bite.
That's what makes it for me. Like, that's what does it for me.
That's what I'm saying.
It's the summer of Chick-fil-A chicken strips and sauces. Order now on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. Are they a reliable service? How will I know if something happens? Are they keeping everyone safe? At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bayalarm.com today to talk to a local security expert.
Does your yard need shade, privacy, or a little brightening up? Look no further than Big Trees. I'm Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. At our 30-acre location, there are thousands of trees to choose from and knowledgeable staff, including a board-certified master arborist, to help you find exactly what you're looking for. Visit the nursery and learn more about Big Trees at bigtreesupply.com.
Beauty, privacy, instantly. Big Trees.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners getting set for a 7-game homestand. Game 1 coming your way tonight. The Kansas City Royals in town for 4 games. They'll be followed by the Pittsburgh Pirates for 3. Game 1 of the series tonight, George Kirby on the hill for the M's, Michael Waka on the hill for the Royals. You can catch it all starting at 5:30 with the pregame show. 6:40 first pitch right here, Seattle Sports on 710. Other games going on right now. Top of the 5th in Philadelphia, Phillies up 3-0 on the Padres. Bottom of the 1st in Pittsburgh, Pirates out to a 1-0 lead over the Cardinals. Top of the 4th in Toronto, no score between the Yankees and the Blue Jays. Bottom of the 3rd in Boston, Red Sox hammering the Reds 7-0. It's the A's 3-0 over the Rays. Top of the 3rd inning there still to come. Orioles and Rangers in Texas, and the Giants taking it to the road to face off against the Diamondbacks in Arizona.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Coming up at 5:30, we'll turn you over to the Mariners pregame show. Game 1 of the 4-game series against the Kansas City Royals. Stay tuned for that. Obviously, the M's hosting the Royals tonight. The T-Mobile Park roof will most certainly be open. It's hot outside. I haven't been out there since I got here, but it was hot when I got here.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be in the 80s.
I like it when people in Seattle complain about it being too hot.
It felt good. Who's complaining?
I don't know. I hear it every once in a while, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. It rained, I know this, in 1991. It rained every day in June.
No, it's not too hot.
Every single day.
There's hot, like, oh, it's hot outside. And then there's, ugh, it's hot.
Yeah.
There's that kind.
The humidity.
Yeah, that's no good.
Remember during the pandemic, that was hot that summer. I think it got up into the triple digits.
I can't even remember.
It's
Block that whole time out. By the way, that was the Mariners Roof Report, brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. So Cal Raleigh making the rounds. He's doing a lot of national media, and he was on the Pat McAfee show with Pat McAfee and a cast of thousands. And they talked about a few different things out there. Talked about why it's so hard for catchers to hit generally.
Catcher's a glove first position, right? So, their job is really to play good defense, take care of the pitching staff, run a good game, help the pitchers get through. Really, it's kind of their job. So, and the bat kind of comes secondary, and everybody really knows that. So, it's almost a plus if catchers can hit sometimes. So, it's a tough position. You're constantly squatted down. It's a lot of wear and tear on the knees and the body, and there's some built-in off days there, and you've seen some teams just go with a full platoon style, catching system. So you want to keep guys fresh, and you don't see as many, main starting catchers anymore. So it's a tough position on the body and mentally, and I'd say that's probably why you don't see as many catchers, put up the offensive numbers that you see some of the, Aaron Judges and Shohei Ohtani's.
Yeah, it's well put. I mean,
it is well put.
And we talked about it throughout history. I mean, you could isolate. Everybody knows the names of the catchers who really stood out offensively. I mean, it's Johnny Bench, and it's Mike Piazza, and it's Yadi Molina, and it's Jorge Posada, and it's Pudge Rodriguez. But it's I can name 10 or 15 amongst hundreds and hundreds. I mean, it's just, as he said, typically it's a position you don't count on for a lot of production. For various reasons, they've got other priorities, and by the time you get into the heat of the summer and the wear and tear and putting on the gear and doing everything you do, the body takes a beating.
Well, and then also he just kind of laid out everything that it just basically you just don't have time. I mean, where's their time after all that he just described for you to develop yourself as a hitter? And it's just been very, very cool what's been going on with him, and it sounds like he's a busy man. It's funny, if you look at remember that interview we did in 2021 with Cal? And afterwards we were like, he has very few words.
Yeah.
If you'd have told him then that he's going to be doing the Pat McAfee show, I don't even know if it existed then, but I mean, he just was very, had very few words, and just I wouldn't say he didn't like doing media stuff.
He seemed reluctant or shy.
Yeah.
He wasn't nasty about it or anything. He was very kind of closed and just give you 2 or 3 word answers. You're like, all right, I'm asking you 75 questions in 10 minutes here.
But now he's doing everything, and he doesn't seem like he's grumpy about it. So
no, he's getting used to it, man. His star is growing, the spotlight is growing, which is great to see. And
well, when you hear all of that, though, do you start to worry? Do you start to go, okay?
Not with him.
Yeah. I mean, as far as
his personality, his demeanor.
Well, no, I mean like him breaking down, because he's talking about, how you have to, it's just hard on the knees.
Oh, I anticipate that at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. At some point, he's going to have to catch less than he does. As he pointed out, a lot of teams have a platoon situation at catcher, where the idea of just, this is my guy day in, day out, that's kind of going by the wayside. So he's, at some point, they're going to have to get him some relief back there, whether it's Harry Ford or whether it's somebody else, whoever it's going to be. But yeah, him catching 150 games a year is just, you're just asking too much. He's going to break down at some point. So yeah, that I fully expect to see that. He was talking about dealing with 13 different pitchers. Obviously your bullpen arms along with your rotation.
You have your pregame meeting pretty much every time with a starting pitcher, and the way I kind of like to phrase it is, you go over, it's like scouting reports and videos, and you have a plan, like you're in football, you got your first 10 plays mapped out, and it's kind of how you do it the first time through the order. You got it kind of mapped out, and then after that, you kind of go from there based off of what you're seeing. Some guys may be hot, some guys maybe not, and you might have to change some things up. And each guy's different, right? We have 13 pitchers on staff, so it's 13 different personalities, and so you got to learn how to deal with every single one of them. Some are like you said, like a little crazier, a little more psycho, a little, take that pre-workout Red Bull to the head, and they're geeked out by the time they get in there. And some are a little more calm and a little more, rational at the time. So it's just learning how to deal with those guys.
He's talking about Trent Thornton.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
At least that's who I picture when he's saying that.
With those crazy-looking glasses that he wears.
The glasses, him kind of shouting as he comes off the field, talking to himself. Yeah. I feel like he's talking about him.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, 13 different people, different personalities. This is the button I push with this guy. This is a guy I push this button. This guy can be hard on. This guy got to be really gentle with. Yeah.
He's got no time for, I just wonder what his downtime is, because, a lot of times we'll ask us, hey, when you're away from the game, sounds like he's pretty much working.
He's probably sitting in an ice tub
all day. That too. Yeah.
Talking about DH.
You know the thing about that, though, by the way?
What?
Once your nuts freeze, then it's really not that bad.
Is that right?
But, yeah. It's the first part of it, the first 10 minutes.
Shock.
For about 10 minutes of pain, but then, after that, you're fine.
I did it. It takes your breath away when you first get in there.
Yeah.
I've done it a couple times after sparring and stuff. I'm just like all the ears going, I can't breathe. Then
when I got to Denver, I was religious about it, because I was in my 7th, 8th, 9th year, and so every year during camp, because back then you used to put on pads and actually hit people.
Yeah.
And so I would get in there, and it was like a ritual for me. I couldn't not do it, because it's painful, getting, once your toes and other things freeze, then, it's okay after that.
Yeah, then it's very therapeutic. He talked about being a DH, right? So those are his days off, essentially, where he DHs and he's not behind the plate. Said he had to find the right rhythm to find success there.
Earlier this year, I was actually, it was like the first month or so of me DHing. I think I was really, really bad at it, just because, when you're catching, you have so much activity going on. You're worrying about calling a game. You're back there, framing, blocking, throwing people out, doing that whole thing. And you're so involved, you don't even really have time to think about hitting or anything else. And then all of a sudden you're DHing and you're sitting on the bench. You're talking to pitchers who aren't playing, and you don't know what to do with yourself. And then you have to go hit. And then so sometimes you can throw you out of your rhythm a little bit. So it's a little funky, but, I've kind of learned to find the right routine for that and the right mix.
I'd say he's doing just fine with it now.
Yeah.
He seems to have adapted really, really well.
Well, and he had a pretty low number the last time I checked of home runs that he hit as a DH.
Well, it should be lower because he doesn't DH very often.
Yeah.
So the opportunities aren't nearly as much.
Yeah, and I don't know. It was compared to I'm trying to remember the name of the other catcher. He had a lot more DH home runs, but yeah, it was just all speaks mostly to the fact that Cal is always squatting behind the plate.
Yeah, his glutes are in great shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thighs, the legs, they're all getting a nice workout each and every night. By the way, did you watch this interview? You're a Pat McAfee guy. You watch the show.
Yeah, I watch it every once in a while. I didn't see this one.
You didn't see it?
I mean, I saw the clips and everything, but I wasn't watching it.
Dave being a Pat McAfee guy makes so much sense. Because cutting these clips, it was the first time I ever watched it, the Pat McAfee show. Oh, man. It's like an attack.
Oh,
they have like 10 different people asking Cal questions the whole time.
They got the guy with the mullet who's sitting down in one of the desks, and he hates anybody, Patriot fans or something or whatever. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how they get, who gets to go here. And then McAfee is always with a cutoff shirt, and he's throwing a football in the air. And, yeah, it's
how many people are on there?
Like Matt said, I mean, there's like 10.
Is it the same group all the time?
I couldn't keep track.
I know. I think, I want to say at least, and they have the one guy that sits off the side of Pat in a chair, and he's a former defensive back in the NFL. I can't remember his name. But yeah, and then they got these guys behind the glass. And
then you got AJ over there saying nothing.
Yeah, and then there's AJ who just, he stands there and stares at him.
By the way, I just looked at Cal's numbers as a DH this year, hitting 197.
Oh.
With 3 home runs as a DH. So he's had 71 at-bats as a DH, 233 as a catcher.
Yeah.
So there you go. All right, moving on to the final cut here. Just talking about the home run derby and just the excitement that comes with that.
I'm super excited to be doing it. It's kind of one of those dream come dream come true kind of things, as a kid, you always, you find a fence somewhere and you pretend to play home run derby with your buddies. And, getting my dad to throw to me. I'm going to have my little brother. He's going to be behind the plate catching for me. He's 15. So
is he a catcher as well? Your dad's a catcher, right? Former catcher. Is he a catcher?
Yeah, my dad's a catcher. My little brother, he's 15. He's a catcher right now. He's playing the whole travel ball thing. And so he's pretty jacked up about it.
That's pretty cool.
It is.
I mean, whether he wins or not, just to have his dad and his brother. And we've talked to him off the air a number of times, and he brings up his brother unsolicited. We don't even ask, and he'll bring him up. You can tell he's very proud of him, and talks about giving him all his gear and getting all his gear for him, and how big he is, and just you can just tell he's kind of like he's proud. He's a proud big brother.
How cool would that be to have an older brother like that?
Well, especially if you are dreaming of being a ball player and you're a catcher, and your brother is revered as, if not the best catcher in baseball, one of them, and he's I mean, it's got to be awesome.
I kind of had that a little bit. My brother, he kind of, sort of blazed the way as far as getting into college, and he was offensive lineman of the year in Nevada, and then I played with him at Stanford and everything. But I don't know, this is a big separation. He did go to Worcester.
Is he in the Hall of Fame at Worcester?
I'm sure he is, but I don't think he won a state championship. We were the first ones in like 25 years or 30 years or something like that.
But the Wyman boys are in the Hall of Fame.
I don't know. I don't even know if there's a Hall of Fame at Worcester.
I thought there was. Didn't you go there for some kind of thing? Or
I don't remember. I really don't.
I think you remember.
No, I don't remember.
I think you're trying to be modest now.
No, but it's very cool that, I mean, he's got this younger brother that, like you said, he pays so much attention to him. It's really
he just seems proud. He'll bring him up without us asking anything about him. And then we have to tell him, Cal, we didn't ask about your brother. We're here to talk about you. No, just kidding. But it is cool. I mean, that'll be cool to see his brother back there catching, his dad throwing to him, and obviously we're hoping he wins. But just to have that to look back on, what a great memory. I mean, a 15-year-old kid to go, was catching in the All-Star game.
Wouldn't you be nervous?
Oh, yes.
I was a 15-year-old kid. Man.
I wouldn't say a word. I'd be like, I'll just sit right here. You just tell me if you want me to move left, right, forward, back.
Meanwhile,
I'm not going to hear a peep.
Oh, there goes Aaron Judge.
Yeah, there goes everybody. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. For a baseball fan I can't even imagine. So really cool thing. Excited to see Cal in that home run derby and see what he does if he goes lefty, righty, and how he does from each side there, and hopefully he wins.
Sounds like he says he's going to do that, right?
Yeah.
He's going to go lefty, righty. So
that'll be pretty cool. That'll be very cool. All right, time to find out what it is we learned today.
This is a house of learned doctors.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
What did we learn today?
No one's a bigger idiot than me.
Stupidity is the easiest way out.
Somehow I feel like Matt's going to have a lot to say in this episode of what we learned.
I wouldn't say that I have a lot to say. I would just say that I have a lot of clips to get through.
Okay.
You were given a lot of material?
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to do.
I appreciate the soft landing. The first Monday I'm producing this week. It was an easy one for what we learned.
You think Dave went out of his way to help you out?
No. I think it was just a happy coincidence, if I'm being honest, Bob.
All right. What did we learn?
Well, the first thing we learned was that Dave needs a lot more help than we first thought.
Always fun to watch Dave and technology work hand in hand. Just the look of
There's been so many times that I've said, hey, this isn't working, and Matt comes over and clicks a minimum of maximum of 2 different times, and boom, there it is.
It just works.
Yeah.
He came in, I was half paying attention, and you brought him in here for assistance, and then as I finished what I was doing, I looked up and he just goes, Bob, do you want me to click a link for you?
Put a link on the show sheet. There's like 30 links on the show sheet.
I highlighted and usually when Lefko does it, you highlight it and it pops up.
That's not how links work, Dave.
No, it does.
I'm telling you.
It works on my computer.
Lefko puts the full URL in. I just put the link in because I think it looks better.
And I think it looks worse.
I assumed it was easier.
It looks worse.
And I assumed wrong.
It's not easy.
I assumed wrong. I thought my hosts had the ability to look at a link and to click a link, a technology that has been around since the turn of the century.
One of them does.
And I was wrong. Bob did it. Bob clicked the link. Bob's reading about Brian Wu right now.
I highlighted it and then got nothing.
Why are you highlighting it?
I don't know. That's what I do with Lefko's. Lefko puts it in there, and I highlight it, and boom, comes up.
You don't need to
click
highlight
on it.
I thought I was helping.
Yeah.
And Bob, I thought I was helping.
You know what the thing is?
You did fine.
This is easier, actually.
I love that. Why are you highlighting it? I don't know.
Well, because Lefko puts them in there, so you highlight the whole thing, and the thing pops up. This was not the case. And then I did click on it one time. Why are you shaking your head, numbnuts? I'm not even talking to you. And so, and then I did click on it one time, and it didn't come up. So I guess I should have clicked twice. Anyway, long story short, we ended up getting the segment done.
You got it done. Got the article there to appear. It was like magic. It was beautiful. What else did we learn, Matt?
Well, we also learned who the smart money's on.
All right, Dave, this is where you rebound, right?
Wait, I was down?
Have you ever been up?
Matt, I thought I was really good at this.
Dave's like, I've been crushing this segment.
Matt, so far, who would you bet on if it was Bob or Dave?
Bob. Is that even a question?
I just thought maybe I might have dazzled you with
Dave, I'm normally the
picks.
one that puts the right and wrong sound effects when we do Call It Now Revisited. I'm picking Bob every day on that one.
Yeah, I guess that wasn't a great question. I bet you I win, though. All right?
You do bet that.
I'll bet you.
Okay.
How much?
I'll take
I don't
that
know.
bet.
I'll just bet you.
I'll just bet you. Just a gentleman's bet.
That's right.
What else did we learn?
We learned that Top Step has a rigorous booking process.
By the way, some guy named Adam Ray, I don't know if you're familiar with him. He sent in a text and said, ask Ryan what guests we can look forward to on the Top Step. Guest suggestions: Rich Amaral, Mariner Moose, Dave Wyman.
There you go. Hey, Wyman was on the version of it before I hit Root Sports. By the way, we had a great chat. I don't know if Dave Wyman remembers that.
We did have that. It was during the pandemic. I remember it
exactly
very clearly.
That was good stuff. He was sitting on his deck chair out in the backyard. I said, dude, do you have somewhere better to sit? Or
I was in all my glory in my backyard, but apparently I didn't make the cut for the TV show.
No,
well, hey, at least you got asked. All right, hey, it was good to talk to you, Ryan. We'll do it again next week.
Hey, dress up in the Moose outfit, and you can come every episode. If you want
perfect. I gotta come in costume. Dress up in the Moose outfit. You can come every episode.
Whenever I look at that, I always think, wonder what it smells like in there.
Oh,
that's got to be bad.
It's got to be horrific.
Yeah.
Come on. That, and what about our guy at this Blitz? He's been out there those days we're out there just roasting in the sun.
Oh, I know.
That guy's out there in that costume running around like a maniac.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I know that he's got like a system of like ventilating that whole thing and getting the smell out of there and everything. So,
yeah, that's got to be treacherous.
But that's how you get on Ryan Roland-Smith's show.
Yeah, you come dressed as a mascot. Yeah. It's open door policy. Did we learn anything else?
We learned one last thing, and we've learned this many times. I'm not to be trusted.
Time to hear even more embarrassing stories from another teammate of Dave's.
What? Who wrote that?
I think Matt had his hand in this.
We weren't teammates, numbnuts.
Wait, are you being for real?
Yeah. Yeah, that would make me like 45 years old or something like that. There's this thing, it's called a calendar, and then you can consult that by years.
He was so proud of that calendar.
It turned out
line.
I was sort of had egg on my face because I didn't realize, I'd forgotten that our careers actually did overlap. We were not teammates.
Right, but you were in the league at the same time.
For 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought Robbie was younger than that.
I did say you were teammates, though. I was wrong.
Yeah.
And I just went Ron Burgundy and read it.
Yeah.
Didn't even give it a second
Yeah,
thought.
because you would have known that I hadn't played with Robbie Tobeck because I'd have told you a million stupid stories about it. Yeah.
But in a way, you complimented him.
Yeah.
Because you thought he was
probably
10 years
feels
younger.
better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, he's great.
And Matt clearly thought you were younger.
Yeah. No.
It was either that or I thought Robbie was older. Let's just leave it at that.
After that experience with the clicking of the link, Matt thinks I'm really old.
Yeah.
Somebody
Matt
suggested
knows you're really old.
Somebody suggested I was put in a home
That's
at some
right.
point, but
Dave's ready for a home.
I'm telling you, man, it didn't open when I clicked it.
I just don't understand the highlighting thing, what that's about.
I do that every time with Lefkos.
I've
and
never
it pops
highlighted
right up.
any of them. I just click on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds easier.
It
your way.
is. It's just a click and boom, there it is. It pops up. It's a beautiful system. That's all of our learning?
That's all we learned.
That's a lot of learning for one day, right? Nice soft landing, as he calls it. Beautiful. We'll see if we can learn more tomorrow. All right. I want to thank our guests today, Ryan Roland-Smith and Robbie Tobeck, for joining us on the program. If you guys missed any part of those conversations or any part of the show for that matter, just head to seattlesports.com, click the podcast tab, scroll down to our picture, click on that. It'll be right there waiting for you. Or, as I tell you each time, you can click subscribe and never worry about it again. Just shows up for free every single day. You don't have to do a thing. It's a beautiful little magic trick we pull here. You got the Mariners, you got the Royals, game 1 of a 4-game series coming your way next. You got George Kirby on the hill. Hopefully we're talking about a win tomorrow right here with Wyman and Bob.
After a gutty series win
Donovan Solano driving in the run.
and 3 straight extra innings games in Texas,
The Mariners have taken the lead in the 10th inning.
the Mariners are back home at T-Mobile with George Kirby on the mound to kick off the 7-game homestand.
A huge strikeout for Kirby.
Mariners Royals. First pitch tonight at 6:40. Wyman and Bob take you to pregame at 5:30 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports, and the Seattle Sports app.
Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. John always listens to his truck. So when his brakes start talking, he goes to AutoZone, where a helpful AutoZoner gets him the right parts. If John has time to put them in, he borrows a kit with Loan-A-Tool. And if he doesn't, he gets a free shop referral. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool. Restrictions apply.
With Progressive's Home Quote Explorer, you can easily find the right home insurance for you, even if it's not with Progressive. But if you don't choose us, then sure, okay, it's not going to work out. We're not going to cry about it or stay awake wondering what our future together would have looked like. We can't get emotionally invested, even if it sounds like we are. Progressive's Home Quote Explorer allows you to easily compare home insurance rates and coverages in one place, even if it's not with us. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy. I love you. I shouldn't have said that.
Kick off your 4th of July weekend with a Mariners fireworks show at Seattle's summer home, T-Mobile Park. It's a Mariners patriotic party this Thursday, presented by T-Mobile.
Fly ball right field. Sailing back. Gone! Legend Cal Raleigh.
Catch Cal and the crew take on the Royals at 7:10. Then stick around as the sky explodes with red, white, and boom. Fireworks and Mariners baseball. That's 2 spectacular shows in one unforgettable night.
J.P. Crawford with a walk-off single. Holy smokes, what a finish.
Lock in your seats now at mariners.com/fireworks and check out the full fireworks lineup this summer, including an 80s night on July 18th and Show Tunes theme on August 1st. Plus, don't miss big-time giveaways like patriotic trucker hats on Friday and J.P. Crawford basketball jerseys on Saturday. Mariners baseball. Tridents up.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
You're not at your house.
You're at a lavish seaside estate. You're not walking the dog. You're hunting for clues in an Agatha Christie mystery. See it differently with BritBox. Stream an endlessly entertaining collection of British TV, including new original series Ludwig, starring David Mitchell.
Bit awkward, really. I think I might just have solved a murder.
And Outrageous, a scandalous true story.
Seems there's a political extremist in every family these days.
See it differently when you stream the best of British TV with BritBox.
An Aussie trekker travels to America to hike an epic trail.
It was rocky, it was imposing.
But Eric Robinson never made it to the end. I'm Dave Cawley. Follow my podcast, Uinta Triangle, UINTA, on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
I saw her texting, coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Citizens, since we each upgraded to Xfinity in our homes, the Wi-Fi has been booming. It's fair to say our town has officially become a boomtown.
Mayor, will I be able to drop into multiplayer gaming battles with low lag?
The lag won't be an issue, but your questionable skills may be.
And what if I have hundreds of devices on the Wi-Fi? Purely hypothetical.
Seems like a lot, but sure, hundreds of devices all booming together with the Xfinity Gateway. Yes, friends and neighbors, with Xfinity, the Wi-Fi is booming.
The Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Now get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best-in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed. All in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract. All with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with XFi Complete required for unlimited data except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
This is Seattle